But yes, hi, it's me, John. I'm here. Hello, welcome to the Gamesline podcast. Yes, Lily, you're here. You've been drawn through the backyard.
Yes.
To talk about fighting games. Please. You could tell us more in a moment.
Mm-hmm.
This way. I can't. Okay, this way.
I think we all
It's
have
Rose.
different orientations.
Yeah. This way is Rose. This way is Rose.
Hi,
down here,
that's me.
Rose, hello.
Hi, I'm the obligatory modern games player. I play recent video games.
For shame. Why would you do that?
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
Why would that? That's
I'll find a
disgusting.
cooler
Why-
year at some point. I'll pick like 2013 was a big deal. Everyone loves Zoo Tycoon for the Kinect.
I mean,
you can talk about the eventual release of BioShock Infinite.
Yeah, everyone's really hype. It's oh wait, that's Alan Wake. I was going to say it's not a lake, it's an ocean. There's always a lighthouse, and I can't wait to find out why.
Not to mention the thrilling conclusion to the Crisis trilogy.
Oh, yes, I'm sure they'll follow up on all the great plot lines developed in Crisis 2.
that was about when we launched, so
Wow.
yeah.
Where was the Crisis 3 review, John?
Nowhere, because we didn't want to play it.
You released amidst a veritable storm of very reflective, sweaty men, and also Zoo Tycoon.
Just in time for the Order 1886, too.
Yeah, the good stuff.
A great year
Really?
for werewolf enjoyers.
Mm-hmm. And then down here is the Dragon Stomper. Dragon Stomper, what are you doing on our podcast? Don't you have to stomp some dragons, perhaps?
Hey, it's me. I'm the Dragon Stomper. See any dragons, Aboot? By the way, I'm Canadian.
No. No.
That, after reading...
I'm covering Rose up right now. No.
Reading up your review of Dragon Stomper, I adding the layer that it's in Canada now in your lore that you've created, very interesting. I think it would happen. I think
That's
seems
why-
more realistic to me now.
It's why we don't see dragons in Canada anymore. It's crazy.
It's true.
That's right. I stomped them all.
Stomp them all. But really, though, thank you, Crystal, for being here, and yeah, thank you for the review and all that. Good stuff.
I really like that you just take damage when you enter the room. That was my favorite part of what you were saying. That's what it's all about.
That's right. Unless you buy the item.
Unless you buy the item.
Unless you buy the item. I mean, that's how it is in real life, I would say. It's just...
That's true.
unless you buy the item.
You are constantly taking damage until you buy an item.
Yes. So, it's been a bit since we got together to talk about gaming and all that stuff. And, I mean, personally, I haven't been gaming as much. I've been reading some stuff. I've been reading about gaming. I haven't really broken into these yet, but I did purchase some books. I went to the half-price books because I wanted to get rid of some stuff that I was not reading. And that I did not want to have in my abode anymore. So I ended up swapping those things out for... I got The Making of Prince of Persia by Jordan Mechner, which is just his journal entries, which is really funny. It's just a bunch of journal entries from him back in the 80s. Can't wait to see what goes on in there. And then I also got Jason Schreier's Blizzard book, which, look, I'm not gonna, I don't want to cast dispersion, because I don't know the man. I know that there's a lot of, people with very strong opinions on Jason Schreier. I think some of his reporting is very good. I think some of it's a little bad.
My stance is there are so many worse people in games journalism field that
Abso-fucking-lutely.
I can't really get that mad when someone does the work.
Yeah, exactly. But I will say I haven't read any of this yet. The one thing I like, the thing that kind of hangs over this book is just the claim that like Jason Schreier knew about a lot of the harassment before it came out, kind of stuff, supposedly. But pretty much everyone I saw who was saying that stuff was a chud, so I'm gonna read this book and then I'll tell you how I feel about it, because there's a good chance that they're just full of shit. That's what I believe. You know? It's we'll see how it goes. I'm not even a Blizzard guy, you know? Like, I don't care about... the only Blizzard game I think I enjoyed somewhat was Overwatch, and then they kept updating it, and then I was like, oh, I don't care about this anymore, because you fucked it up. You really fucked it. But I liked his other books. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
I was just saying, I liked his other books that I read. The other two that he has written were very good. So I'm looking forward to digging into that.
What are the other books he wrote?
I bet it says
Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, right?
Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, and Press Reset.
That's right.
Which were both pretty mostly about like layoffs and work culture and the games industry.
So
the only argument
he's familiar with the work culture of the studios that he is studying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there is an argument to be made that he could always have done more, but I feel like you can make that argument about any sort of academic endeavor at a certain point. I'd rather have him than, a lot of the other big name game journalists who report on this stuff.
Yeah, like I will, like, from what I have seen, I think like some of the stuff that he has reported on has led to some things. Like, if I remember correctly, I think like CD Projekt Red had some, like, he reported on them having some bad like crunch and stuff, and then after a while, I think he like followed up with some of the same people that he was talking to, and they were like, "Oh no, yeah, no, it's way better." Like, like getting it out there is what's important. So, yeah. And I'm being told by Huskow in the chat here that Ray Chase, who played Noctis in Final Fantasy 15, narrated the audiobook. That's interesting.
Oh, cool. What is the the thrust of this book?
I mean, I think it's just like because of all the stuff that was happening at Blizzard, semi recently, he just tried to report on it, and it's
this isn't like a new book, right? Like, this was from like 2019 or 18 or something.
Let me see if there's like a copyright page on here or something. Let me see. October 2024.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Which like he was reporting on stuff way before that. It's just
I was gonna say he did the big article that was different from. That's what I'm thinking of. I think.
Yeah. So like it's not like when like journalists these days are like sitting on a bunch of like shit that's going on in like the Trump cabinet, and it takes like 3 years to come out because they're waiting for their book deal or whatever. It's like, no, he was doing the reporting and then he did the book later. Like, sure, like that's probably how you should do it. If you're gonna write a journalistic book like that, like as an expose tell-all thing, you should still like write the articles so people can know about it and there can be actions taken before, yeah. But yeah. But that's for John. That's what I've been doing. I did do some other stuff today, actually, before I came on here. But I don't want to take up everything. I don't know if you guys want to talk to first, because I don't want to just steal the spotlight. I apologize if I am. Here, Crystal, tell us what's been going on with you. You're talking about your Dragon Stomper review. What's going on in your neck of the woods? What's up, Crystal?
Hey, it's me, Crystal. I'm back. Dragon Stomper has gone to the
Dragon Stomper had
village.
Some interesting questions about Jason Schreier's book, I gotta say. It was really... Yeah. I was surprised by their mindfulness.
Yeah, he returned to the Yukon.
The Dragon Stomper is somewhat of an intellectual, I think. What have I been doing? This is my first podcast recorded on Linux.
Oh.
Ooh.
I installed Linux Mint a couple of days ago. It's immediately certainly snappier than Windows. I did also have some classic Linux style issues. First of all, the version I installed, the most recent version, which came out like 2 days before I did this, didn't support my graphics card, which is very old. So I had to roll back to a previous version, reinstall the whole thing. And then I completely wiped the drive that had my Windows boots on it. And I guess Linux didn't install its own boot in the right place. So then I couldn't boot as soon as I restarted. So I had to dig out my even older laptop and make some boot media, and it was fine. I saved it. And then just before we started this, I was trying hard to fix an issue where my headphones would just like have this annoying pop every time that audio stopped playing, which is really noticeable when you're editing audio.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's really cool that that's something that you can fix. So, you know, I don't know if I'd want to say easily, but the fact that you're just like, oh yeah, I can roll back to a different version of it and figure it out. Like that's impressive. That's cool.
I am the kind of person who's like, when I'm in a crisis situation, this is very low stakes crisis, I am calm because it's like, yes, all of my ambient anxiety finally has a use.
Like, I can feel stressed out about this, and it's good to be a little stressed out about this so I can figure it out. Aha!
And you know what the most important thing is? I feel like I'm allowed to complain about it. And complaining is the most fun thing to do on this earth.
It is, especially on a podcast.
Oh, what's everyone's favorite complaints of the day? Let's do some whinging.
It was raining while I was in the car, and I don't like driving when it's raining.
No. It hasn't rained here in months.
I mean, we definitely needed the rain, but
that's my complaint, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
What's been grinding your gears?
Oh, I'm a creature of whimsy and joy.
Whoa.
And so as a result, I've never once complained about anything. Life is full of beauty and magic, and we all just need to open our eyes and see that. And also, I'm really tired of seeing people's opinions on Twitter that don't agree with mine.
Oh, okay.
I think everyone should have my opinions.
Ain't that the truth? I hate when people I don't know have different opinions than me.
I'm sick of seeing the Uma Musume people put the horse with the tongue, and they put it on pictures of beautiful women. I don't want to see that anymore.
Well, you don't have to see it right now, because it's...
I know, yeah. That's nice.
You should be able to, block an image.
You should, right? If we have all this stupid AI detection bullshit... I mean, not the detecting... You know what I mean. Anyways, yeah. If we have all that technology, we should be able to just be like, no, get out of here.
Enough of the horse.
That shade of green, not in my sight.
I don't want to see that one picture. No offense to the artist that draws it, but I have seen this one fan art of Germa with the onion ring, and I hate that picture so much because I don't know how to describe it other than they draw Germa like a horse, and I don't.
I think I know what you're talking about. And I can understand your sorrow.
Especially when you see it animated, it's just like it triggers the part of my brain that makes me naturally fearful of horses in the first place. So you can't do that with Germa.
It's supposed to be a calming presence.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad that we all have our little complaints we can share. It feels very good. But yes, Crystal, but how is Linux now that you've sort of ironed things out a little bit? How are you feeling about it?
Gaming is hard. People told me, oh, the Proton these days, it's so easy, you can run anything you want.
You have to use different kinds of Proton is the problem. And you have to always change it and look up. Yeah. Do you know about this?
Rose, I've downloaded all the Proton managers. I've downloaded all the wine tricks. And I'm not even trying to run new games. I think actually running
Just
new
old
games
games
might be easier.
It depends.
I'm trying to run games from the 20th century. The century of the world wars. Okay?
I'm surprised that you're running into problems, because that's what I've had the most ease with. I've honestly had more problems with like 2008 games, I would say.
Oh, that's true. The 2000s are probably the roughest. But I couldn't get Unreal running. Maybe I can figure it out if I tinker a little more.
If you haven't downloaded the Heroic Games launcher, I recommend it.
Yeah, I've downloaded that.
Okay, good.
Unreal, I never really gave it much thought, right? Because I don't really like a lot of those late 90s polygonal shooters. I don't really like Quake. I don't really like Half-Life. But Unreal, it's kind of got the juice. It's got a great vibe. It, well, you tell me if this sounds familiar. You begin on a ship that is crashing onto an alien world, and you are one of the only survivors of the aliens attacking. And then you land on the verdant green valleys of this alien world with the amazing Y2K space skybox.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a bunch of it's surprisingly linear in a way that feels modern. There's scripted set pieces, like one of the earliest levels.
That's true.
You go through some dark tunnels to pull a switch, and then all the lights start going off one by one, and you're trapped in complete darkness. But luckily you have some flares. So you throw out a flare and you try to walk forward. And then with the perfect timing, a big monster bursts through the wall and you gotta shoot it before it kills you.
Mm-hmm.
Condemned 2.
That happens in Condemned 2?
I just always think of the zombie bear bursting through the wall. I'm sorry. It's probably a bit of a jump. But yeah, I didn't even think about the angle of that is probably one of the earliest examples of that sort of showmanship, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, here I'm showing some footy of Unreal here. Look at that.
I do still think that Naupoly is a very pretty environment to set Unreal in. I don't have a ton of experience with actually playing Unreal myself, but I don't know. It was the initial jump in a more enjoyable direction, because I also don't really like Quake that much, but I like Unreal. I was an Unreal Tournament enjoyer, unfortunately.
I think that's normal.
Yeah. I don't think I ever played Unreal Tournament. They probably run some private servers for that, right?
I'm going to warn you right now. There is some Scions of Darkness that live on still running that in Quake 3 servers, where this is the first and the last game they have ever played, so they are the SEAL Team 6 of ensuring that you do not get to pick up a single item the entire time you're playing multiplayer.
Sounds like a job for a Dragon Stomper.
That was my problem with I loved the when they made that Master Chief Collection. I was like, oh man, I love that they have this matchmaking that lets you queue for any of the games all at once or whatever. That's fun. And then it was like, oh wait, the people who are here are people who have only played Halo and will only play Halo forever.
Mm-hmm.
They are deep sea creatures that live around the ocean vents, and they only burst back into existence when the vent kicks up with the release of another Halo.
It feels like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what I can do? I bet I can gather 10 people for an Unreal Tournament night.
Sure. That seems practical.
This is how I've been holding John, by occasionally making him play Stuff Dot with me. This was prep for that. We'll have the first yearly Unreal 2K 2004 tournament.
And by honing me, you mean completely whipping my ass every time, because I'm not very good at first-person shooters, and you're like a literal expert, so...
I wouldn't call myself an expert.
I would.
would.
Like what an expert would say.
I know how to hold a mouse in the correct hand.
Lily, you're like top
That's scary.
300 in fucking Ultra Kill or something, like however fucking high you are. You're like...
It was 175, but that's besides the point.
You're top 200 in Ultra Kill! Like, what are you talking about? Oh, I'm just You're very good at shooting games.
Alright.
Anyway, but yeah, no, what else about Linux, like, drove you to the Switch, would you say? Do you just not want to mess with Microsoft, which, understandable, or, was there any, like, other things that you're, like, looking for in an operating system right now?
I was using Windows 10, which will cease security updates, about a month from now. And my hardware is not eligible to upgrade to Windows 11. There are some ways around that, but I figure the combo of that and wanting to cut Microsoft out of my life generally because of the BDS boycott, it was just the push I needed to live the Linux lifestyle. And the main thing that everyone uses Windows for is gaming, and I don't do much PC gaming, and when I do, it's old games.
Makes sense to me.
But Linux is definitely a combo of like, Linux Mint is the distro for babies. If you're the first time Linuxer, that's the one they recommend. And it's definitely like more lightweight than Windows, less cluttered than Windows, easier to find where things are than Windows.
Mm-hmm.
Just also has a bunch of weird little issues, but I guess so does Windows. I'm just more used to those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like, when I put Ubuntu, that was the distro I went with on my laptop, you quickly find that, like, there is, like, a phenomenon that I call where it's, like, when you are good with computers, right? You don't run into less tech issues, you just get more and more specific tech issues.
Yes.
And so, particularly with things like Ubuntu, it is like the experience of suddenly being transported into the mind state of like an 85-year-old grandmother trying to figure out how a smartphone works. And like trying to do that while also trying to like make sure like my writing setup and everything still works, because like I when I write novels and stuff, I use Scrivener. That is my thing of choice. And when there is nothing more frustrating in this world when everything on this earth seems to agree that there shouldn't be a problem, and then you have to re-explain to them, okay, but there is a problem. And that was my experience trying to get that set up with Ubuntu, which is why I don't do writing on my laptop anymore.
Yeah, I mean, my next question really was to ask you, Crystal, would you recommend folks, like, who would you recommend Linux to, and who would you be like, don't worry about it?
I mean, if you use your computer for Discord calls and web browsing, then definitely Linux has got your back. It'll do everything you need it to.
If you need to do 3D modeling, maybe don't.
Doesn't it have a Blender?
It does, and then you download the specific Blender pack that doesn't run in Linux, and then you're like, uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and you can always fix these things to a degree, but it's like, that is definitely a thing you keep a Windows machine around for,
I would say take an honest account of what do you actually do on the computer, and how much time do you spend doing each thing, and then you can do a cost-benefit analysis of Linux.
I just think that there's like a thermocline with this kind of thing where people are approaching a point of disgruntlement, I will say, with like how Windows acts. Like, I mean, it's a monopolic kind of overlord over the PC gaming space. And the more I keep seeing people being like, I'm just going to give Linux a try, and especially seeing some pretty big name people giving Linux a try, I think the more people who are open to trying it, instead of just saying, I probably won't like it, kind of opens the doors to there being better and better alternatives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And especially so when you consider the fact that it's like, you can just have 2 OSs on your computer if you really want to. It's a little more fiddly, but for the temporary nature of things, like you can just kind of put stuff like Ubuntu on like a flash drive and just try it for like an afternoon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's also a website called DistroC where you can stream lots of various distros.
Okay.
But yeah, we're in a historical moment where Windows is like rapidly getting way worse. They're talking about Windows 12 is going to be AI looks at everything you do so it can remember what you do, and also your primary method of interaction is voice. And then also Linux is kind of getting better and better. I think it was a harder sell in the 2000s when Windows was mostly pretty good and Linux still had the reputation of being, for power user computer nerds. But I think now it is simultaneously for those people and also for people who just want a very lightweight OS.
I mean, the thing that consistently surprised me is like my laptop is not new, and like the lie that tech conglomerates constantly push is that stuff just gets aged out. But that lie becomes obvious when you use something lighter weight like, Mint or Ubuntu, and you're like, oh, suddenly my computer that could barely start up Windows 10 turns on in 10 seconds without an SSD because Windows is just that badly optimized.
Windows is so bloated, and they're creating so much more e-waste by telling people to buy new computers for Windows 11.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely Linux is very good for repurposing old hardware so you don't just throw it away.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess this was our inadvertent sales pitch for Linux, but here we are.
That's what every conversation about Linux is forever.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone who uses Linux forever.
So maybe
Listen,
if you want to think about it, like, hey, maybe it's a good idea if you buy a ThinkPad. Maybe you should buy a ThinkPad, and hey, maybe like cargo shorts don't actually look that bad. Maybe you should put them on like all the time.
This I can't stand by.
Definitely when I was watching a million YouTube videos to psych myself up to build the courage to install Linux, there was such a stark divide between nerds with a bad sense of humor and like 60-year-old British women.
Oh yeah, that's it's been like that since I was in high school, I think. Doing computer classes stuff. It was just like you're going to find like what everyone like talked up like freaking Linus Tech Talk or whatever. I remember forever. He's fine. Don't get me wrong, but it was just like the stark difference of like you get a tutorial from someone like that, or you get a tutorial from, professor of computing at the University of Cambridge.
Well, yeah, it's like, the kind of it's the kind of sudden like upset that comes from accidentally stumbling into what I call like quote unquote good at it spaces. Like what you think could be an entry level problem, and you want the simple tutorial, you want like the snappy kind of walks you through step by step and you're free to skip, but then you accidentally fall onto the never ending, constantly descending staircase of people who have been doing this for the greater portion of their adult lives and now know like kernel OSs better than any GUI, and then they just talk at like it's they might as well be talking to you in a different language.
Oh, I remember something I want to vent about. I was trying to get Plex Media Server to recognize my external hard drive. And the official documentation is this, what feels like 1,000-page tome explaining in detail exactly how the permission systems in Linux work. And I read through it and I did all that crap and it didn't work. And the thing that saved me was a YouTube video 2 minutes long of a woman on her phone recording her monitor telling me, oh, you just have to like rename the disk in the disk manager and they'll recognize it.
Sometimes that's all it is. Yeah.
Every time I do anything on the Steam Deck that's stupid, like installing a mod or installing like a weird game that shouldn't run on it or something, that is literally the exact experience I have every single time. There's like a Reddit thread of someone describing something in the most insane way that takes like an hour, and I do all that stuff and nothing happens, and then I find a freaking YouTube video and the guy's like, yeah, you just name the file Jug and it works. And I'm like, okay, great.
But then it does. But then it works.
And it does. It works every time.
This is why we need to bring forums back.
No,
we can't.
They're gonna do the thing I said half the time. They're gonna do the Reddit. Maybe we create a pinning system.
So here is the reason why I say this. So much of this good knowledge is at this point in the closed gardens of random obscure discords run by weirdos. By the way, GameZone.zone. And we need the ability to find basic information without having to append Reddit at the end of every Google search.
Linuxman actually does have pretty good forums, and yet they have yet to actually solve a problem for me.
Yeah. Join our Discord server. We do stuff. We talk in there if you want. Let's see here. Rose, you've been gaming.
Hi. Yeah, I'm always gaming.
That's true, but what have you been gaming on this time?
Have you heard of the Hollow Knight Silksong? The follow-up to the 2017 hit. Okay, so picture a bug, and then picture like a Dark Souls world.
Okay, I'm imagining this.
Okay. And then the bug just goes through the Dark Souls world.
Whoa.
Why would you inflict that on a humble bug?
Well, everyone's bugs, so even the birds are bugs.
Are all bugs going through Dark Souls at all times,
yes,
and we just don't know it?
Absolutely. Are you seeing them? Why do you think the pill bugs dodge roll all the time?
Oh man, you're right.
Yeah, I was gonna say I kind of really instantly believe that. That they do that.
Yeah, Silksong. I'm enjoying it. As you know, this was 7 years of development or something like that. So everyone went online, went crazy. I don't care about those people. I think those people should calm down. But I'm enjoying what I've played of Silksong so far, which is I would say about 7 or 8 hours of it. Mm-hmm. It's more Hollow Knight, but just sort of amped up a little bit, and I mean amped up in ways that are good, not necessarily amped up in they require you to use your brain 7,000% more or something. I'm talking stuff like they added quests. You have quests which are called wishes in this game, where you just go to a bounty board, or you find characters, and instead of just having to remember in your brain that you are supposed to do something for them, maybe at some point, and putting a pin on your map, you just you get a little diegetic menu that's hey, here's the wish you need to fulfill, here's the things you do, and those wishes can be things like hunt down a creature, find their track somewhere, and then it will make a little wispy path through the Metroidvania environment, and you'll fight little mini bosses for a little bit and then go back and get a reward. Or it could be stuff hey, donate to this to fix a hole in the ground at the beginning of the game that drops you back down to the beginning of the game if you accidentally fall into the hole, because it's a dangerous hole and you shouldn't just have that in the city. You can do stuff like that. Or just stuff the classic Metroidvania, find all my friends. If you find all my friends, you get a reward type stuff. So I like that. The main character is Hornet, who was a boss from the first game, and she pretty much does all of this stuff that she did in that boss fight in the first game, which is cool. Like, she has her aerial jumps, she has a bunch of thread-based moves and stuff like that. But she also, more importantly, can talk. So every time you run into an NPC, it's not them talking at you as the little Hollow Knight bug who didn't say anything because they weren't really real.
Spoilers.
But more, yeah?
No, just... Sorry, I was being flippant. Feel free to continue.
No. Hornet just talks to people. So you find NPCs and you talk to them, and Hornet has a back and forth and expresses things, feelings, things like that, and it makes it for a much more engaging world to me. Because I feel like Hollow Knight I really like Hollow Knight a lot, but it has this feeling that Dark Souls does, right? Where you are just sort of a voyeur in this world that's fallen already, and you're just sort of talking to people who exist in the, leftovers of this place. This feels way more like this is a fucked up place and things are bad here and things have been bad for a bit, but there is like culture and there is society and you are engaging with people as a person and you have your own ideas because you come from somewhere else. So maybe you express things in different ways. I think that's a great change of pace for a Metroidvania in general, because I feel like they are generally pretty bad at stories. I think that there is a tendency to be like, you want to give player freedom but then giving player freedom in terms of like the different areas you could do in different orders means that you have to like sort of struggle against the idea of like, well, how could they talk to this person then? And I think this game does a good job by like just sort of augmenting the Dark Souls style of NPC quest where you just talk to them a little bit and then they move on.
Right.
So it sounds like she has like way more motive to actually be there.
Yeah, definitely. Her motive is also that she was captured and brought there. So she's just sort of like figuring out what the hell's going on. But I think that's better than I like Hollow Knight again, but in Hollow Knight you're just sort of wandering around, right? You're just a little bug and you're just like, what the hell's going on, dude? And this is way more like, no, you know what's going on. Hornet is talking to people and learning how things are working. Hornet is learning about pilgrims and their weird Catholicism religion and the Weavers, which is apparently a thing because Hornet's like a spider type lady. I guess her mom was a spider. Her dad was like a worm, I think. Nature's beautiful.
What's Hornet all about?
She's got she does air dashes and stuff. Well, like I shouldn't say air dashes. She does like stabbing hops. So she'll do like, whereas the original Hollow Knight, you sort of bounce on your sword a lot, like a Scrooge McDuck style thing. In this one, it's way more like Sonic homing attack almost, but it's not. You obviously there's no homing involved. It's just you're always going to strike down in a direction, and to bounce off of things. So she's doing a lot of aerial stuff. She's using a lot of thread based moves. So she'll do things like shoot out a bunch of threads to attach to things, or like throwing out her little needle. She uses a needle as a weapon instead of a nail, which is what the Hollow Knight character does. And the thing of a really fun difference is that she doesn't just use the needle. She also gets different fighting styles, which is not something that was in the original Hollow Knight. So right now I have the option to use claws and also a more sweeping, like arced base attack that uses the needle as a sort of like scythe almost of like giant sweeping curves. And that's really fun because those things also mix up your healing. If you ever played Hollow Knight, you know that you sort of heal by just standing still for a little bit and holding down a button. And in this game, it works the same way by default, but then the claws, for example, don't heal you inherently. They give you life steal and double your damage. So it encourages you to like be more aggressive when you're that. Like you take hits that you know that you can take because you're just going to heal through it and stuff like that, which I think is interesting. And then the other one's like, oh, it heals you a little, but then really what it does is it gives you more mana for spells or something like that after you heal. Which is cool. I like that those types of abilities. I like that Hornet has traps and tools. So like I have knives that I can throw at people and I also have bombs that I can place around the arena. So it's like, if you're doing a boss fight, and in this game, I actually think the boss fights are a lot better than the first game, where I think a lot of Metroidvanias can fall into the trap of like, we give them a bunch of moves, and then they might just do a random move that looks identical to another move. I think Silksong is a lot more deliberate in their animations and also like routines. Like, if you are X distance away from the boss, it will always do this type of move. And that makes it a lot more fun and makes it so that, like, even though they're hyper aggressive, you can sort of plan around like, okay, I know they're going to go over here, so I'll put a bomb here. Or, oh, I know that they're going to drop down over there, so I can get across to the other side of the room and just start throwing knives in that direction, and they'll hit them when they land. It's really interesting and engaging. I can definitely see why I think that there's some pushback to the amount of difficulty that's in this game compared to something like Hollow Knight. Just because it's like, it's a game that's way more about giving you a bunch more options and then letting you fool around with them and engage with them. Because, like, for example, the hopping I mentioned, if you played Hollow Knight, you know that, like, the end of the game had some scary platforming challenges that was a little, people said Super Meat Boy-esque, and I would say that's a little far, but, you know, it is still a little challenging. And this game has a lot of that just, like, pretty early on. With like things like you have to hop over spike pits by doing that sort of, you know, jumping slash that I mentioned of like do a little homing type thing. And that can be difficult, but it can also be more difficult when you use those other fighting styles, because those fighting styles change like all of your attack moves. So like you don't do the floating homing attack anymore, like what the claws do, like a sonic spin ball type thing where you just turn into a ball and just like go really far away. So you kind of have to like adjust around that, and then like the curving arc is the same way. They all feel completely different from each other. So I could definitely see like, oh, you're getting all these new tools and then you're getting kind of overwhelmed at how like you have to use them.
Does it enable you to like switch between them seamlessly, or is it like a menu?
No. I kind of think that is maybe one of the problems, is I think they should do that. Because you have to sit at a bench, the save points basically. And there are plenty of benches around, so it's not that hard to do or anything. But it is the type of thing where there have definitely been times where I'm using the claws, like which I say the spin ball is kind of annoying to do the jumping puzzles on, and I have to be like, oh fuck, I need to go back and switch. Like I find that, which is a little weird, but you know, it's not that bad. I do think that they could have probably just let you switch them on the fly. I don't really see the balance reasoning for that, but I don't know.
I mean, it kind of sounds like, compared to something like Hollow Knight, the encounter design sounds a little bit more dynamic just because of the presence of multiple weapons.
Yeah, definitely. Because in that other game, it's like, what the most you can do is you can add length onto your nail, I think. Your main weapon. Mm-hmm. And then you had some spells like shooting a beam out, but it wasn't that crazy. Whereas this is way more like, yeah, like I'm throwing knives, I'm dropping bombs. I think there are more tools that it can get later because, I mean, there's switchable things. I'm pretty early on, I guess, but it's interesting. I'm really interested to see like how the more harder bosses, because I haven't really fought a boss that's hard yet. If anything, I would say that the interesting thing about this game versus something like Hollow Knight is, I would say like, you run into way more harder, like, normal enemy encounters, and the actual bosses are pretty easy. Like, I think the most I took was, like, 3 attempts on a specific boss so far. And, but then, like, sometimes I'll just get to a room where they, you know, Hollow Knight does this thing where you get in a room, and Castlevania does the same thing, where you get in a room and then they spawn a bunch of specific enemies or something for a little bit, and then you beat all those enemies, and it's like, you did it! Those have been way harder because you have a lot of flying enemies, you have a lot of like having to manage things, but also those have become easier as I got tools like the bombs and stuff, like I said. So it's this weird thing where it's like, I feel like traversing the world is almost more dangerous than the bosses. But it's cool because I like that. I honestly like that because I like bosses for more of a spectacle type situation and a means of like sort of a duel. Versus, like, I think exploring the world should have a level of danger to it, which is what Dark Souls does well. And I think the original Hollow Knight wasn't that dangerous exploring, all things considered. I think the bosses were definitely the trouble point.
I almost worry hearing you say that like, because again, like once you reach a certain point in a lot of Metroidvanias, you are kind of incentivized, like tacitly, to run past stuff that you've already engaged with before. And I kind of worry that won't, like, once, because like again, like most Metroidvanias, you hit like the end game where you can end the game if you want to, but you also are doing a lot of backtracking back and forths. I kind of worry that might muddy the waters of that a little bit if it's like that much harder.
Mm-hmm. I've definitely seen people complain about, I would say, the boss runbacks in that regard, of like people saying that like I don't have any reason to fight the enemies and I have to run back to a boss right now or something if they're struggling against it, and that being a particular annoyance because of those hard guys. But I think like I wouldn't say this is an elegant solution, but they do want you to grind a lot of money in that game. So there is kind of always that sort of reward from doing it, from fighting enemies along the way.
That seems kind of like a design band-aid.
I agree to a certain degree. I see, the problem is I personally don't mind because I love killing every enemy on the screen all the time forever, and I never get sick of it. So it's the type of thing where I can definitely see the issue for someone else. But for me, it's like, if I don't want to fight something, I think there is an elegance to the way that you can move about that world where running past them still feels pretty good. Like, I'll give you an example. There was a room that I was struggling against. Like I said, they spawn like 12 guys over a period of time, and you have to get rid of all of them. And I had to run back like, I think 4 or 5 times to do it. And doing so, I was just like, I stopped fighting the things along the way, but I was using them to do things like doing my silly Sonic spinball off the top of an enemy to get really far and like running really, really fast. So I'm just like running and jumping and then bouncing off of guys just to get to the place faster. And that felt really fun.
Okay. So you get a traversal challenge.
Yeah. And I think that's something that they've gone in a direction with this game more than the original Hollow Knight, where I feel like a lot of the traversal stuff was just towards the end of the game. But I am also scared. I feel like there's probably a scary one at the end of this game like there was with the original Hollow Knight. I personally love that they made the game more challenging overall, but I can definitely see how it could be a problem for other people.
When did the trend of ending games with long platforming challenges begin?
That's a great question that I was thinking about the other day, and I don't know, but I feel like it had to be a Metroidvania, right? Because I don't know, it must have been a Mario game.
Yeah, Mario. Well, Mario is a platformer the whole way, so that makes sense.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about, I get what you mean, the genre switch, kind of. Yeah, because like Final Fantasy 15 did it.
Yeah. The one that really stood out to me was 1000 Cross Resist, because like that's not what that game is, and it ends with this really gamey sequence.
Yeah. I feel like it comes as an inevitability almost, to be honest with you, because it's like the type of thing of like, I'm not going to pretend games are designed linearly, but there is this sort of thing of like, when you're polishing up the ending of the game, right, with something like that, it's like you have all these tools and you've had so much experience fooling around with these tools that you almost want to make a playground.
Yeah, every game has a jump.
Yeah, well, most of the time.
Even, I mean, if you're like a first-person PC game, you probably have a jump. You probably have a jump, and that's all you need to make a platforming challenge.
You know, it's got to be one of those. It's got to be like a Deus Ex or something in the 90s. That's got to be like the origin point. Just like a weird, like all of a sudden, like is there a thief that inexplicably just has you like climb over a bunch of rafters with spikes and you have to go really fast? Yeah.
I don't know about fast, but in a lot of like the older Thief games, like the original Thief, it was more about like you need to like it is like the culmination of the sneaking challenges, while also like, because especially with games like Thief, it's like you can see the temptation where it's like games end in boss fights, right? How do we insert a boss fight? And even like other stealth games have made that. So I think I feel like adding a platforming gauntlet is kind of like a attempt at a type of mechanical boss fight in that kind of context, but I think it kind of makes sense for a Metroidvania because Metroidvanias inherently have their DNA in platforming, and it kind of starts with that kind of test of sorts. It's much harder to do a fast-paced navigational challenge rather than a platforming challenge.
Yeah.
So, Rose, you're liking Silksong? Yeah, it was
definitely
worth the wait.
It's everything I want at Hollow Knight. I loved Hollow Knight though a great deal, so I'm not too surprised that I like I feel like they hit all the same marks. Like you can see so much of their game design inspiration. There's that thread going around about like how many of her animations Hornets match Alucards from Symphony of the Night, but there's like also just like little things from all the types of like iconic Metroidvanias that they just put in there as little bits. Like I was joking yesterday, like I was like, oh, I found the entire zone that's just that hallway at the end of Mega Man X where you shoot all the worms to fill up your E-tanks. Just found that, and I was like, yes, this is what it's all about.
There you go.
Visually, it looks amazing. Again, hand-drawn stuff always looks really, really good in something like this, or like a 13 Sentinels, etc. I really like all the post-processing effects they've put over everything, and the music is also really, really good. Again, just like Hollow Knight.
Cool.
I'm really having a great time with it.
Good to hear.
I will say one thing. I was really scared because the speedrun achievement for this game, for speedrunning 100% completion, is 30 hours, which is a very large amount. It's very scary.
That's scary. That is scary. Yeah. Well, good luck.
I'll try.
So you're going to be doing that first playthrough, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, obviously.
Lily, how about you? What have you been gaming on?
So I have to start with a story about myself here. So I have a partner, and the funny thing with having a partner that like kind of zones in and gets the hyperfixation about specific topics is that there's nothing really obstacular about finding like where the current engagement is. So most nights we will like watch YouTube before going to sleep. And so when I was repeatedly finding various Evo clips inserting themselves into the circulation, as well as like here's how to play Guilty Gear Strive all in one video, I was like, oh, okay. Here we go. And here's the funny thing. I've played a lot of Guilty Gear games. I've never really talked about it because I don't consider myself like a fighting game player. But I didn't own Strive. I owned Xrd. I didn't own any of the Revs. I didn't own any of those kinds of games. So instead, we ended up playing the game that we did own, which was mutually between us, Under Night In-Birth Exe late CL-R. And that was fun for a while. And then, so I don't encourage this behavior, by the way. I want to say that right now. There are a variety of websites you can go to where you can spend $5 to get 5 completely random Steam keys. And my partner thought it would be nice to split one of these between the two of us. So she opens hers, probably, nothing that spectacular. I opened mine. It was like Yotun, if anyone knows that game. She opens another one of hers. And I opened this one, and it was Guilty Gear Strive Blazing Edition, so the version with all of the DLC for like a $90 value for like less than $1 of like actual spent money. And it was like my shock was so palpable that I think she thought I was joking. And I was like, I guess I am a Strive player now because I have to like honor the fates who made it possible for me to play all of Guilty Gear. So that's what I've been playing fairly recently. I am going to immediately say that I am not again, I am not a fighting game player, so if I misrepresent the community here, my bad. I am a neophyte in this, but I've been having a really, really good time playing Strive because I've kind of finally taken some efforts to actually like learn things so I can play with my partner on a level that's not completely embarrassing. I ended up getting really into playing Ramlethal as a main, and then because I had the DLC, I also got to play Dizzy again, who is my favorite character in Accent Core. And I know I'm like super, super late on people saying this, but hey, this game looks good, by the way. I've really been enjoying the way that like it's revolutionized like the 2D, 3D kind of fighter, where you can have these kind of really beautiful animation sets, and it doesn't take away from like the technical virtuosity of actually, touching the controls. I have not touched online because the last online fighting game that I played was Skullgirls. And the experience of playing Skullgirls was kind of finding that every article of your clothing has been replaced with like a cheese grater texture, and you are being wound down slowly on every movement, where everyone is so much better at you at that game that there's just no hope of even attempting to get better at it. So maybe I will report that I am now a fighting game person, but I can say that I've been having a great time at least doing versus matches with my significant other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Huskow in the chat is saying, you are a real fighting game player. Half of a tournament bracket is eliminated 0-2 statistically, so, I mean, that is true. Yeah, we do need the, whenever I would show up to play fighting games, I would just get washed, so,
The thing is, the reason why I personally am like, I'm not a fighting game person is like, a big reason for that is, how do I articulate this well? So, when you play games, there's kind of like a mental, like even if you're not consciously identifying it, there's like a mental goal you are supposed to be working toward.
Sure.
Fighting games work really differently because if you set the kind of vague goal of a win, I guess, you will have like the worst possible fucking experience playing those games because, well, as they said, statistically, you're not going to win. Statistically, you are going to play the game and get utterly obliterated by someone who has several magnitudes more experience than you. And it is a mind state problem where you need to be capable of adjusting to setting a goal that's not winning. And obviously that happens with a lot of games where you are an amateur. Like, there's kind of like this thing that happens where in genre there is enough overlap with one game to another that you can play them without having your training wheels on. I jumped from Under Night to Strive with basically zero upset because for the most part the DNA is like 70% the same, maybe higher.
They're both anime.
And I mean, it's like, again, 2D fighters have not had like a critical upset in their fundamental mechanics in a very long time. You have the bursts, you have the tension gauge. These things may have different names across like games, but they're basically the same thing. And when I jump from a shooter to a shooter, I don't need to learn how the shooting mechanic works. When Rose jumps from Hollow Knight to Silksong, we can still relatively assume that, the core gameplay structure that makes the thing up is going to be consistent. And like, I don't know, like with fighting games, I have such a bad time, or I guess a hard time, deriving value from the experience of being absolutely fucking brutalized. And it's really hard for me to identify like the micro corrections that accumulate to experience to actually succeeding at something. And so it's like, again, it's like that kind of, you are dedicating so much more mental energy just to do the basic correct actions that it's really hard to think about like actually winning the thing, you know? And maybe I'm speaking from a position of relative privilege that I have played enough overlapping games of my genres of preference that I haven't had to feel this discomfort, but it's real apparent here with this, especially when it's like you're actually playing against another living person.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel a satisfaction from losing?
I think like the mindset that I was talking about, like, obviously it never feels good to lose. You're not like fist pumping, but I think you can derive value, especially with that mindset adjustment, to say like, okay, this game I'm not going to get fucking, you know, overheaded like a chump over and over again. This time I will embrace some strategies to get out of the corner, and then when you succeed at that, yeah, you can feel good that your directed practice has resulted in that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still very different than the triumph of actually succeeding.
Mm-hmm.
Some might say losing feels better than winning, because if you win, then there's no more worlds to conquer. But if you lose, then you can still get better.
That is true.
Spoken like a true Demon King.
That is the experience that prompted me to play 3,000 hours of Counter-Strike, and I'm scared of that particular dragon. I know the kind of person that I became when I was doing nothing but playing Counter-Strike. There are videos that exist on this earth of me brutalizing people in Counter-Strike to the tune of old mid-2000s hip-hop that still exist on YouTube for the scourge that I was. And I don't want to become that person again with a fighting game where it is even more intimate.
Do you feel like you want to try other fighting games, or are you happy with like Under Night and Strive?
So my introduction to fighting games was actually not 2D fighters. It was originally like the 3D fighters, like Soul Cal, Soul Blade, Soul Edge in certain other locations. And I played a lot of the 3D fighters, and I played like, I don't know, I think the first Tekken game I played technically was like Tekken Tag Tournament.
It's a good one.
And the funny thing is like, sure, it takes less kind of mental adjustment to go from a 3D fighter to a 2D fighter. And I don't know. It's really hard because like the kinds of people that play fighting games are the kinds of people who play every fighting game. They will eagerly wait for every release. They are the people who are going to play like the stars, like the Marvel games, the new, you know, whatever the League of Legends fighting game is going to be. I don't remember what the name of that is.
2XKO.
It's a very sauceless title, yes.
It's bad.
But the kinds of people who play those kinds of games are the kinds of people who play all of it, and I don't really see myself becoming that kind of person because I'm the person who like has an IV of FPSs in one arm and an IV of JRPGs in the other arm. Like I'm the Emperor of Man from 40K. It's the only thing keeping me alive. But yeah, I enjoy this excursion. I enjoy learning anything more about video games because I like understanding where people come from. Like I like whine and moan about how certain games are hard to review. I could not imagine reviewing a fighting game with any level of appreciable depth beyond like the most facile elements. But I know the emotions around these games are real. There's a reason why certain Evo moments got entire audiences of people to stand up and just scream their lungs out. And I can get that kind of hype. I just also the mountain I would need to climb to become that kind of person, it's easy enough to just kind of go, nah, this is fun for now. I'll continue beating my partner in the corner with Ramlethal combos, but I respect their vision, especially when they have to deal with the bad news that came with Evo recently.
Yeah. We can, if you'd like, we could just bring that up now.
Yeah, I mean, we can segue.
Yeah, because I'm going to be honest, I didn't really play too many video games, so we could just move over to that. Yeah, so Evo. Evo, which, the big fighting game tournament, the one that everybody loves, or did love. Yeah, the amount of characters that may cause issues in Guilty Gear Strive. Yeah, Maverick is saying. So the big ol' mega city project, is it pronounced Qiddiya? I want to say it's Qiddiya. It's Qiddiya. Qiddiya. It's the big Saudi Arabian city, Qiddiya. Thank you, Qiddiya.
Is that the one that's a line?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay, I just remember they had that nightmarish line city they were gonna make.
Yeah, I think there is something that they were talking about. But
yeah,
this is the project that like the Saudi Arabian government is trying to run, where they're basically just like, we want to make the city of fun. We just want to make a big place where you could just go to like 17 theme parks, and there's going to be esports tournaments constantly, and it's just going to be all kinds of shit like that. Qiddiya has purchased Evo, or had taken full ownership of tournament organizer RTS, which is the owner of a, I think like a large, like majority of Evo as a company. And Qiddiya was already like a partner with Evo because they were like putting a bunch of money into it and all that. And basically Evo is just going to be in control of the Saudi Arabian government now. Which, if you've spent, if you've kept up with some of the news in the past, how, the Saudi prince is a big fighting game fan, you know, got a, the same group has kind of gotten their claws into, SNK, and, you know, City of the Wolves had the guest characters that they did seemingly because of Saudi Arabian influence, and now Evo is just going full sports washing for, you know, to quote esportsadvocate.net here, just, project backed or owned by Saudi Arabian government, such as Qiddiya, are frequently criticized for helping the government engage in sports washing or using various forms of entertainment to cover up its record on human rights, women's rights, LGBTQ rights, military actions in Yemen, and more. So it's not good. It's not good.
They're building esports city?
Yeah.
And there's Dragon Ball theme park.
They have a Dragon Ball theme park there. Yeah.
Apparently they're still working on the line, which is a separate project.
What's the line?
The line is a 100-mile long linear city.
Why?
It's a great question, Crystal. Why?
People who have money
shouldn't.
Yeah, should not. Yeah. Nicholas just said Mr. Beast City. That is probably going to happen. Yeah.
This will just that will just be a small part of the city, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember when Akon was trying to build his own city in Senegal?
It was his own country, wasn't it? And he had Akon dollars.
Everyone wants their own city, but how often has this actually happened? I guess Disneyland.
That's true. Disneyland. I can't think of any other ones. I don't know.
Okay, so I am learning that Mr. Beast didn't buy. He built a city for when he filmed Beast Games. So that's something that they had.
Qiddiya has a partnership with the University of Central Florida to train young Saudis on hospitality, tourism, and sports management. So they are in league with the Disneyland's extended universe.
Of course.
Well, I didn't know about that, and I'm pretty unhappy about that because that was that was the school I went to. So I'm not happy about that.
I don't know if there's a university in the country right now that would make you happy with what they're doing.
That's true. That's true. Still not a good feeling, but you know.
University of Spaceships and Theme Parks.
University of Horrible Human Rights. Yeah, it's a fucking nightmare. There has been some pushback here and there.
I mean, what are people gonna do?
Exactly. It's like, no matter what, you know, how uncomfortable people are, it's just like, they're just gonna not go to EVO, but when they don't go to EVO, it's just like, okay, well then there's gonna be just as many, if not more people who are just like, I don't fucking care, I'm gonna go, because they're gonna get paid way more. Like, fucking, you know, like SNK and this whole group, they're doing like, an Art of Fighting 3 tournament? Oh, excuse me. Which is like, what, like a 30-year-old game or some shit? Like 25-year-old game? And they're, you know, the pricing is like hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, you know, they're going to be shoveling money into this just because they can. And people are going to be like, all right, yeah, I'll sell out to go play Street Fighter for $5 million. And I'd like, also, there's going to be way less people there because they're not going to allow any, like, anyone LGBTQ or, like, any, like, women or anything like that to, I mean, I don't mean to speak out of turn and or be stereotypical, but, like, there are just, like, so many issues over there where it's just, like, people are just not going to be able to, like the fact that, like, Sonic Fox is out there being like, I want to be as loud and proud and gay as I can be, and people are responding to them, like, very earnestly, just like, I'm happy for you, I want you to do, but also I don't want you to die. There is a very good chance that you will die if things keep going this way. Like, and it's just like, this happened so suddenly, where it's just like, oh yeah, no, like, being involved in fighting games has quickly shifted from, this is this great community thing that everyone is working together with, and people from all walks of life are coming together and working on it and enjoying these games, to, yeah, we can't, there's a good chance that, like, half of us aren't going to be able to play anymore because we have to actually think about our safety. And this just happened very suddenly, and it's such a shame, you know? Like, people are upset about, you know, things that are going down in the US, which is understandable, don't get me wrong, but, like, you travel to a place once you get to the tournament, you're usually okay, but now it's like, what's gonna happen?
I mean, I think with any of these kinds of things, it will kind of resultantly be a schismic event. And here's the thing. As I said, I am not educated enough to have a complete opinion on anything involving EVO. I'm not there on the ground floor. The people who like these games, though, have liked them for decades, and there's a reason why there are certain jokes that circulate about people playing certain, you know, brackets in toilets. There are people that will play this wherever, and maybe it won't be on the EVO stage, and maybe EVO won't be the name that it once was doing it. But I think if I could say anything optimistic, I think that the heart of dealing with these kinds of issues, even when they come with seriously disappointing news like this, is to understand that passion is what carries these kinds of events, not money. When we consistently see things getting worse because they think that money can supplant passion, we see them for the fools that they are.
Yeah.
And I think the kinds of people who care and care deeply about fighting games are ultimately either going to, A, ensure that these events do not prosper, because, again, you can give away millions of dollars, but essentially that's going to be no different than being a patron to a person who thinks that he can buy the concept of fighting games, which you can't.
Yeah. There will always be somewhere that will have access to these sorts of things with less baggage, and there will always be a community, you know, like the thing that popped up pretty much immediately afterwards was everyone just saying like, hey, go support your locals. And, you know, like Ultra David was out there just posting like, here's this big list of locals, send in more locals so we can put them on the list so people can look it up and go to these places. And yeah. Yep, what Maverick's saying is, yeah, some light radicalization can go a long way. Like, not for nothing, but people are still about Tekken player Arslan Ash's passport issues as some story about overcoming the odds, which, yeah, but also, why is Pakistan not allowed at some places? You know, like one of the the best Tekken player who, you know, like, it has won the last 2 Evos. And doesn't seem like he's slowing down. Again, has a really good chance of just not being allowed to play now. Like, they're shooting themselves in the foot. And, you know, obviously you're like, it makes sense from a money sense, but you're stabbing the heart of the FGC to do it.
How much more money are they getting?
I mean, we'll see. I don't think we've actually really learned, but I mean,
I just love the way the price.
I mean, I guess we'll find out once EVO 2026 rolls around and we start seeing those prize pools and we start seeing, you know, we hear about, I don't know, like what people are getting paid or whatever if that comes out. Because I mean, yeah, if the prize pools start like going crazy, then that'll be the sign, I suppose.
I love being able to put a number to someone selling out.
Maverick saying the Esports World Cup had pools in the 6-figure range.
Whew. How many people got 6 figures?
I don't know.
I was trying to find if there's any public information about the sale, but there isn't. It was probably just shares or something. Insane.
Yeah. Okay, Tekken player Ulsan won $250,000 USD from placing first. So that much. And then you had Nicholas in the chat again saying, I do think if any gaming community is the one that's going to be able to deal with this, it is the fighting game one. Which, yeah, that is true. That is absolutely true, because, I mean, that's, like, fighting games were just, you know, you're talking about, you know, Melty Blood and on laptops and bathrooms, etc., like, you know, that's a derisive joke, but the truth is the reason why that joke exists is because, you know, like, between, like, Street Fighter 3 and 4, there was that era where it was just people, you know, keep playing fighting games in however they could, and, you know, it should be a feel-good story that fighting games are celebrated for what they are, for the skill, for the passion, for the quality of the games, and it's just like, no, instead we're just going to use it to advertise for a murderous government. And don't get me wrong, I would feel the exact same way if there were, you know, if all of a sudden, I mean, it's not even all of a sudden, because, like, the US military shows up to conventions and stuff and tries to recruit people there, but at the same time, like, there is a bit of a difference between, like, oh, hey, they have a booth here, and they own it, and they are going to show ads constantly, and, you know, are the main money, because, yeah, I would feel the same way if, like, I wouldn't be watching any sort of, like, US Army tournament, you know, like, I'm not going to do that. So,
they've certainly had to learn to get good at dealing with things. I would say the fighting game community has always had a huge problem with ignoring problems for a lot of years, but I think recently they've really tried to reckon with that.
What? Can I have some examples?
Letting abusers go to Evo all the time for years. That was only something that recently got solved. Plenty of abusers within the community, literal criminals, people who had records, just being allowed to play all the time, stuff like that.
Criminals can't play fighting games?
I would say when they're domestic abusers, they shouldn't probably be around fighting game communities, which are all about, a lot of chauvinism. But that's just my take.
No, that makes sense.
Not the fun kind of criminals. These are
not like a petty thief. Now, you see the petty thief win Evo, you cheer for them, But no, I think that's something that I think they've recently gotten a lot better at, which was always my problem growing up in the 2010s, let's say, hearing about how awesome fighting games are, and then you see all these people and you go,
Yeah.
But I think that's just proof that they will do something better this time, because they really clean things up.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, but yeah, I mean, there will always be a community, so we'll see how that goes. Do you want to just do more news? Because we're already an hour and a half in. We can talk about some stuff that's been going on.
Okay,
sure.
Let's talk about a feel-good story.
Okay.
Please invent something to make me feel good, just this one time.
So, I mean, I do have one feel-good story, but that one is going to probably immediately swing right into sad stories, because it's about work, like workers' rights, and there's usually more bad stories than good stories these days about that, but Maverick, I don't know what exactly needed to be gift, but feel free to clip it, everybody. So I guess good news here is that the developers of Diablo have unionized. So they are the latest arm of Blizzard to unionize, talking about Blizzard, talking about all this stuff again. 450 devs that are working on the Diablo games are joining World of Warcraft, Overwatch, their story and franchise development team, and other stuff that exists across Microsoft and Blizzard. They are now unionized with the Communications Workers of America. And they specifically are doing that because they want to fight back against layoffs, their pay, and dissatisfaction with AI. I think I will need to let me see if I can.
All you hear about any satellite Microsoft involved studio is that the corporate mandate is just shoving a bunch of fucking Copilot shit into everything. It seems miserable.
That's all they got left.
Yeah.
What are the products they have in their belts?
So apparently in a future update, snipping tool is going to move. So,
that's true.
Oh, they're getting rid of snipping tool?
No, that was a little joke. They have a little message that pops up when you open snipping tool since I think 2017 that says in a future update, snipping tool will move and change into a new thing, and it never happened.
But they put Copilot in Notepad.
I know. When I was reformatting my hard drive recently, and they were trying, I was able to do a bunch of things to make sure nothing happened, but there was a WordPad. I think it was Paint. It was the Paint, and they were like, "Look, here's the Copilot feature in Paint that finds the right shade of red." And I was like, "What do you mean the right shade of red? What are you talking about?"
The right shade of red is the red that I want to use. What?
It's a nightmare.
I thought the Microsoft Special was pushing out an update that bricks people's SSDs.
Oh yeah, that was just last week, wasn't it?
That happened to a friend of mine.
Yeah, I happened to another friend of mine also.
I hope everyone's excited to pivot to Windows 11.
Here's the secret. Here's the secret to everyone out there, by the way. Don't worry about them saying end of support. It's fine. It's literally going to be fine. It's literally going to be fine.
It could be not fine. I mean, it's not like
they literally have to put out the updates that solve the critical security errors every time. They still do that for frickin' Windows 7.
But their updates brick your machine.
Yeah, but those are this is the security exploit ones. I mean, I'm listen, switch to Linux by all means. Go for it. I'm just saying. Don't get tricked into upgrading to Windows 11. It's the classic scare tactic.
It's just like they start using AI on all their back-end programming, and the programs start getting really bad, and they start doing the things that OSs are not supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like destroy your computer.
See, I really enjoy working on reviews for Gamesline, and then suddenly a big pop-up blocks my entire screen and is like, hey, did you know Windows 10 is ending soon?
Yeah.
I'm aware. And you know what? I'm waiting for Windows everything to end the way the things are going.
I mean, listen, I would love more than anything to have an alternative that isn't like iOS that is kind of universally supported. But I will take the workers' rights wins where we can get them. And hey, if we could get more game dev unions, get them in there, guys. I believe in you.
Yeah. And then to shift over to the bad news for workers' rights here. Some folks at Firaxis got laid off. 2K has confirmed this, even though they're going to be soon making $11 billion off of GTA 6. They're just like, oh, hey, we're going to fire some people. There isn't any kind of numbers, per se, about how many people were let go.
I think this one is, if I was to create some sort of illusion of their reasoning, it would probably be... I'm not doing this to justify it. Clear. I'm just saying, if I had to come up with a fake reason they would give at a board meeting, they would say, Civilization 7 had a rough launch. The thing I find interesting about these layoffs every time is they did not lay off any of the project managers.
They never do.
They never get any of the people who are in charge of managing the project who perhaps led it to being bad. It's always just the actual workers who worked on it and had to follow those orders.
This game developer article suggests that they delayed GTA 6, but they still wanted to meet the goals of growth of this fiscal year. And one of the ways to do that is to cut labor costs.
Growth. What a word. Don't you love to think about growth?
Yep.
Don't you love
It's not even really growth if it's just cutting costs.
It's the illusion of growth.
Yeah, and the thing is everyone will report on it as a positive. It's just like how I always think about, this is a tangential thing, I always think about how everyone always said that, a good example of this is what David Cage got like 2 of his cases dismissed for insane reasons of the 3 court cases that were filed against him for the Quantic Dream lawsuits. And all the reporting on it was not, hey, he still lost one of the lawsuits and the other cases were dismissed. It was, he avoided the lawsuits and now he's safe. And that's sort of the tone that all of these can work with forever in terms of the passive voice of the press. Is it always just becomes, it never becomes hey, they lost all of this. It becomes, this happened. Growth. Profit.
I mean, it's the same conversation you see around things like piracy. Where they're like, piracy costs the music industry $85 trillion worth of loss a year. And it's like, yeah, if you consider the concept of loss anything that you don't get ever.
Yeah, it's like, I'm missing out on infinite money right now because I'm not being paid by literally every single person in the world right now. So write an article about that.
And ultimately, they just legalize piracy and call it Spotify and YouTube Music.
So true. YouTube Music especially, God.
It's like that green text where it's like you pirate the game 5 million times and then you just buy the company for $1 and then delete all the games, and now you have a ton of money and you own the company.
It's like the thing that people have said at this point, where it's like you can pirate literally the entire discography of a band and buy one item of merch from them, and you will still do more supporting them than having a Spotify subscription and listening to them like 8 million times.
Yeah. Yeah, there is sort of there was an attempt to rhetorically attach legitimacy to money going in the right direction, and that's simply not true.
Yeah. And to kind of tie everything into a little bow, to talk about Microsoft as well as people being laid off here. A couple weeks ago, some folks got laid off at Crystal Dynamics, and we've kind of figured out the reason why they were laid off now instead of when Perfect Dark was canceled. It turns out that apparently Take-Two was close to picking up the rights to the game to publish it, finish paying for it, and ship it out. But apparently Xbox/Microsoft said no, because they did not want to hand over the licensing rights in full to Perfect Dark. They were considering, I guess, just letting them publish the game by itself, but they didn't want to be like, oh, we're not selling Perfect Dark to you. We'll let you publish this game, but not Perfect Dark itself as a game series.
Because it's so valuable, right?
It's so valuable. They're totally not gonna sit on it for years and years and years and do nothing with it.
They were doing something with it and they canceled it.
And then they stopped, and then now they're just not going to do anything at all. And isn't that great? It's inspiring. It's inspiring. We love gaming. We love treating video games, art, and artists and art with respect. And we love giving people a living wage, and we love having people have jobs instead of being unemployed. I'm good at the economy.
Perfect Dark was sold as a quadruple A game, but Take-Two already has a quintuple A game.
That's true. They don't need that. They have GTA 6, quintuple A game. It's time.
So based on the other quadruple A game, which is Skull and Bones, do we think that the addition of an A makes it worse or better?
Wasn't Callisto Protocol in there too?
Oh, that's true. I forgot.
That doesn't say two real stinkers in a game that got canned. Doesn't sound good to me.
The more A's you add, the more it sounds like screaming.
Do you think it's like a negative % modifier just inherently to add an A on?
I mean, yeah, we have yet to have a good quadruple A game. Mm-hmm. Arguably, we have yet to have a finished quadruple A game.
That's very true. With those two examples.
I mean, at least with the Callisto Protocol, you had PUBG that you could always fall back on.
Yeah, that's true.
Nicholas is saying, I love Perfect Dark games, but I would never, ever, ever make one.
Did you know? They made a Callisto Protocol Hades game?
No.
I'd like to unknow that.
Okay. They never made a Callisto Protocol Hades game. It's not real. It never happened.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry.
I mean,
it's not called Redacted. It is called Redacted, actually, which is really funny for what you said. Oh, man.
What?
Great.
Oh,
incredible. Fuck. I love how it's so easy to be a gamer and a comedian in the modern economy.
Oh, man. It's that they just do it for you. They do the work. More exploited labor.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I actually slightly lied. There is a little bit of good news. Just a little bit of good news in regards to artistic integrity and the like. If we're talking about, Perfect Dark almost getting revived, Atari has done some things recently that are good for game preservation. Can you believe it? I can't. I genuinely, it's genuinely surprised. Like, I feel like it was only yesterday that Atari was trying to do crypto scams and building a hotel, and their speaker hat, which I did just recently purchase. I don't have it yet. It's being shipped to my home because they were running low on them and they were for sale, and I was like, I'll spend $15 on that. That's funny. So once that shows up, I guess I'll try it out. Yeah, I will wear it probably next week. But Atari they're doing some cool stuff for game preservation. We've gone over some of the stuff that they've been doing, because they bought Night Dive and Digital Eclipse, which I definitely remember talking on the podcast like, "Oh, I'm worried. I don't know."
I was scared about Digital Eclipse for sure.
But it seems like that has only been good because, like you look at the stuff that they've been doing lately, like they did the Atari 50th anniversary thing, and they've been continuously updating that. Like they just put out an update semi-recently that was all the like Namco stuff. So there's an official documentary about Atari Pac-Man on there.
This is a broader documentary issue, but it's something that I really want more things closer to their Atari 50 stuff, because I think the Atari 50 stuff, you've got a lot of different perspectives, and I've been less crazy about their more recent stuff because I haven't watched all of like the Jeff Minter one and then Llamasoft.
This is Jeff Minter stuff.
Yeah. That one, and then the forthcoming Mortal Kombat one, which I know will be just fucking very specific people talking.
Ed Boon's hanging out,
Yeah, exactly. I think those two are examples of like a lot more of a directed view, in a way that I think is pretty negative for the overall presentation versus something like the Atari, where you got a lot of different takes. I'm hoping that they do something soon that maybe has a little less control.
Sure.
Because, Ed Boon.
I mean, for the Mortal Kombat thing, I'm at least glad that they, saved the WaveNet edition.
From a game perspective, it's a very, very good package.
I don't care about I don't care about Mortal Kombat, but just like the fact that they were like, oh yeah, this is like one of the weirder fucking.
It shows the timeline, right? Like
it shows a timeline, and they had they saved lost media. Like as much as we crack wise about lost media people, it's nice when stuff like that gets saved and that people can actually mess around with it. Like, that was a completely new version of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 that I don't know, like maybe like a couple hundred people ever played. If that. So, it's cool. But the new cool thing that they just did is they bought the IP rights to a few Ubisoft games. And, some of these are really great games, some of these are just whatever, but like it's the fact that they just like went out of their way to do this. It's really cool. It's that they grabbed up Grow Home and Grow Up, which those are probably like the best games that they grabbed there, for sure. What?
Oh, you're right. Those are the best games because the other game options are really funny.
Yeah. They grabbed Cold Fear.
Which is a hell of a game.
They grabbed Child of Eden, which is, I mean...
That one's fine. I'll put that one on the list just because that's like the predecessor to the Tetris Effect, basically, in a lot of meaningful ways, I think.
Yeah, it's Mizuguchi. It's, pretty similar to like... I mean, that game... Yeah, that game's sin was that it was for the Kinect,
Yeah, which is a pretty bad sin, honestly.
Yeah, and I mean, they eventually made like a PlayStation version that obviously didn't use the Kinect and all that, and that's probably what they're gonna, if they re-release it, that'll be what it uses and all, yada yada. And I Am Alive,
which is inscrutable to me. I don't know why they grabbed that one.
I'm guessing it must have just been like. Ubisoft
needs money.
Just like whatever, or however much money it was. Like maybe they were just like, hey, like maybe like Atari was just like, hey, what do you have and how much will it be? And then they saw I Am Alive on there, and it was like $500. Like, okay, we'll pay you $500 for I Am Alive. Okay, like. We'll slap that on Steam and probably make that money back eventually. Like, sure, But yes, they said that they are going to reintroduce these games. So they're saying they're not like just slapping a port out. They're saying that they are exploring possibilities of, quote, updated formats, new content, and extended distribution channels, which, I mean, yeah, it sounds like, you know, the extended distribution channels, that sounds like, yeah, they're going to put it on Steam and maybe, like, put them on other consoles and stuff like that. But specifically new content, you know, that's interesting. I mean, I doubt that they're going to do big, like, sequels to most of these. I could see them maybe doing a sequel to Grow Home, you know? I could see them doing a third one of those. But otherwise, yeah, I think these are just going to be, like, ports and, you know, just maybe polishing them up a little bit here and there, but also, you know, stuff like I Am Alive would probably need a lot more than polishing, but...
They could make I Am Alive, too.
They could if they wanted to. I don't know why they would, but they could.
It could be called,
I Am Still
like,
Alive.
You Are Dead.
They could do that. They could do that. And I mean, the CEO, Wade Rosen, did recently do some interviews where he was basically just like, yeah, I want to keep doing this kind of stuff. Like, you know, he was saying some like pie in the sky stuff, but the fact that he's out there being like, yeah, I would be down to spend the money to remaster, like, port Panzer Dragoon Saga or Snatcher or Ogre Battle or something like that. Like, that's cool. Like, being out there to just be like, yeah, I want to bring this stuff to the modern market. Like, yeah, that's...
Is I Am Alive not on Steam?
I don't think
That's
so.
a great question.
With Xbox, I mean, it could be. I just always think of it as the...
You can purchase it.
Well, no, now you know where that money's going.
Yeah, there you go. I mean...
Very odd.
You know, maybe it'll be on PS5 and Switch 2.
Great.
Those incredible... The people have been clamoring for I Am Alive on PS5.
Can I just say...
Yeah, go on.
This shouldn't fucking make Bubsy 4, though. What are they doing? What is that? Why? Funny? Haha. It's not funny.
It's a little funny.
You've heard why they're doing it, right?
Why are they doing it?
Okay. It's again because of the CEO.
Okay.
When he
Sentences I love to hear.
Yeah, I know. But I think it was when he got brought on, or like I think they announced, like, Atari was like, yeah, we're trying to, like, really come back into doing game stuff. I think it was like Good Morning America or something talked about it, and they specifically pointed out that Atari had the rights to Bubsy, and they made fun of them for it. They were like, why would you have Bubsy? What are you gonna do with Bubsy? So he said that he went to find somebody to make a new Bubsy because he wanted to make the first good Bubsy game to show them up.
Okay.
So Bubsy 4 is made out of spite.
Yeah, we're in a 3D platformer renaissance. Why shouldn't Bubsy
That
join
is also
in?
true. That is also true. We are in that renaissance era, but it's just, I don't know, I can't be mad about that. That's hilarious.
Not to detour again a second time and take us back, but I need to read you this statement from the Wikipedia article for I Am Alive.
Mm-hmm.
The game was first mentioned on September 3rd, 2006 in an article on how to get more women involved with playing video games. In the article, Yves Guillemot said, next year Ubisoft will publish a game called Alive that features characters who rely on their instincts and each other to endure after an earthquake.
Yeah, things women love. Earthquakes.
That game has nothing to do...
Was that a Jade Raymond joint?
Yes, it's another one where she ran away again. Not to portray her as doing that, but at a certain point, you just have to be like how many
What's
of those?
going on?
How many games? How many games has she left in her wake?
A lot.
I don't understand how that's going to get women into gaming. Also,
By being alive. Yves Guillemot wants women to be alive.
As a woman, I love being alive.
Okay, I guess that's true.
I'm here or there on, like, the earthquakes thing or whatever, but
I mean, I don't know. I think that might just be something you have to figure out. You might have to figure out being really into earthquakes.
I don't know. What's everyone's favorite national disaster?
Tornado, probably.
I like flash flooding.
Flash flooding? Okay, yeah. It can be fun. If you're in like a mountain range, it's scary. You know? Got a lot of options. Avalanches?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm an avalanche, like mudslide kind of guy, you know, like it's the rolling earth is scary. But also kind of beautiful in a way.
I'm not even sure what the earthquake is. All I know is that I Am Alive takes place after a catastrophic disaster known as The Event.
You know, technically speaking, everything in life happens after the event.
The event.
It's just true. It's just a different measure of what the event we are talking about.
Listen, okay, Atari folks, because they've been doing a lot of like merchandising recently. Free idea. You definitely need to make an official I Am Alive t-shirt that just says like I survived the event and all I got was this t-shirt. There you go.
We're already doing it. We're already ironically rehabilitating the game, and that's the first step to actually rehabilitating it. See, I'm definitely much more cynical about this, where, like, I don't know, I don't think there's anything that heroic about buying the rights to old games and then reselling them.
I mean, sure. Yeah.
Now, if they released the source code, I would give Atari CEO a pat on the back.
I feel like I would before in the past I would say that's impossible, but after that Command and Conquer thing last year, I believe anything can happen now.
That is also true. Yeah, sure. We'll see. And last bit of news here, unless I forgot something, in which case you all can tell me. But the last bit of news that I have here are the new Mega Pokemon that got revealed for Pokemon Legends ZA. Or at least one of them was officially revealed, and the other one is totally not revealed yet, but it's totally obvious what it is. Mega Hawlucha. How are we feeling about Mega Hawlucha? Here, let me I could pull this up. I could show
Present
this
for me his headshot.
Yeah, I could show you what he looks like here on you can look at Mega Hawlucha on this thing right here. So yeah, there's Mega Hawlucha. I'm looking on the official Pokemon website here. They basically, so they pretty much just went, oh hey, what if we made Hawlucha dressed up like a luchador that's doing a pay-per-view match instead of just a luchador? Gave him like the gold trim, the golden mask, fancy pants. Says that it enhances attack and defense.
I still think of like the wrestling themed Pokemon that I know about. I'd probably give it to Incineroar more, I'm not gonna lie.
So are you saying that you would want a Mega Incineroar? Because I feel like you saying that if the competitive Pokemon scene hears that, they're gonna want to rip your head off, because Incineroar is already a problem.
It wouldn't be the first time that I've expressed an opinion that people have wanted to kill me for, but I can admit that I'm uninformed. I just think Incineroar is a nicer looking Pokemon.
I like Incineroar. I think I'm behind this from a more broader like perspective of them using Megas for the correct Pokemon, which are Pokemon that are like single stage and left alone in their little holes. I think it's inspiring to give those guys, a special little something.
Maybe not single stage, but just like that.
I mean, even double stage ones are fine. Like I just guys who aren't the guy already.
Yeah, like Charizard and Lucario.
Mega
and
Victory Bell. Great grab. Even though that's a 3-stager, that's still like, Victory Bell. Like if they did Mega Parasect, I would be like, phew.
Yeah. We got images. Look at all of them. Mega Kangaskhan.
There's more than one Charizard?
There's two.
They made Mega Charizard X and Mega Charizard Y.
I swear, like every time like you all talk about Pokemon, I turn into like I literally become an older version of myself where I don't know what Pokemon are.
You're like they've got a Mew 3 now?
Listen, I had a this is an aside, but it's related. I had a friend who once forced me to play a game called Pokemon or Prescription Drug. I didn't get a single one right.
I've seen that one, yeah.
Yeah, check out this fat fuck. I love him. Mega Victory Bell. Very good.
I'm keeping my inside thoughts inside about him, but he is a shape.
He is certainly a shape.
Extremely shaped, yeah. But so they've been doing these like little videos for these new megas. I'm gonna play this, but I'm gonna mute it because I don't want all the like echoing and stuff. They did like a fucking horror movie sketch for Victory Bell, which is really funny. Like bros like jumping out of stuff. They're scary. It's scary. Oh my god. It's shit's crazy. But yeah, they got let me see if they have the Mega Hawlucha. Yeah, they do have the video. They put it up on YouTube, yeah, as full match Hawlucha versus Machamp, which is how they list like wrestling videos on YouTube. You know, like when WWE or AEW upload like their matches, they put it up like that, which is really good. And they're also doing a big like exhibition with CMLL, I want to say. One of the Mexican wrestling promotions. They're doing like an exhibition with Pokemon, I guess. I don't know exactly. Yes, CMLL, yes. Which that's cute. So the other thing that they have done is I don't know if you know. Oh, that's loud. That's very loud. I'm sorry. Hey, do you know the Pokemon Malamar? Do you know this guy?
I know him.
Well, they're seemingly teasing Mega Malamar here because they've got Malamar's whole thing is that it can hypnotize people, and so it's trying to hypnotize the people of the city to make everyone love Malamar, and everyone does. Like, look at this guy, this Jeremy Fragrance looking motherfucker, dancing about Malamar. I think it's really funny. I think it's really funny that like, yeah, this is like this extremely powerful like hypnotist Pokemon that can control people's minds, and all it's doing is making everyone think it's cute.
Whomst among us?
Yeah.
That you can put the Switch 2 upside down and play it upside down, can't you?
That is, yes, you can.
So what the fuck are they gonna do? How will they know?
I don't know yet. I guess we'll have to wait and see, but...
Really, for context, Malamar evolves by being upside down on the DS.
What?
Yeah, but you had to level up its pre-evolved form,
and then have your DS be upside down while
upside down,
leveling up. Yeah.
Why?
Because it's a squid, and then it looks like it's upside down when it evolves.
Yeah.
Much to think about.
Yeah, so they're definitely going to reveal Mega Malamar soon. I won't go into too much detail because I don't want to get in trouble, but let's just say that there is a list of supposed megas that has been said that lines up with what they've shown so far. So if you look somewhere, you might be able to guess what the other megas are for ZA.
You have Mega Yveltal.
No.
Finally. Double bacon.
No, I think Gen 6 is the smallest set of Pokemon, right?
I believe so.
That sounds right.
It's either that or Sun and Moon, but I'm pretty sure it is X and Y, I think.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I'm going to be real with you. A lot of those X and Y Pokemon are kind of bangers.
Yeah, I agree.
As much as I don't like X and Y. Yeah.
But you look at that fucking Esper, holy cow.
It's a great Pokemon.
Mega Flowey.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or whatever it's called, the flower one. Flabebe.
Oh, yeah.
Flabebe.
But Yeah, I mean it's fun. But they're really leaning into the Malamar stuff, which is again really cute. Like, not to pat too many backs there, but like, they're like reskinning all of their social media accounts to be like, oh yes, we're the official Malamar account now. They actually went into the Pokemon TCG, like the official like online client, and they just forcibly changed everyone's background to be Malamar, and like all the like the coin is a Malamar coin and all that. Like that's fun. That's cute. I like that kind of stuff. Like people are like on Twitter and Blue Sky like role playing, oh man, I have always loved Malamar. They're like doing like sprite edits of, oh man, remember when Malamar saved the world at the end of Pokemon Emerald? Like it's cute. It's fun. Like I like that. It's a nice little community thing, and it's a good pick for a Mega.
I liked the post that was is he, a friend of Malamar?
Yeah.
You think they'll do some sort of accelerometer-based Mega Evolution trick with Malamar?
That's what I was saying. I don't know, because the Switch 2 can be upside down and you can play it normally, so...
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
But it is also on the original Switch. I want to remind everyone, the Switch 2 has yet to get a game beyond Mario and Donkey Kong.
Yeah, that is true.
Well, it has a Bravely Default remake.
That's true.
It has Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour.
It has Drag Botics. What is that
Drag
called?
Drive, yeah.
Drag Drive. Great.
Mm-hmm. Drag X Drive, Drag Cross Drive, I don't know.
Is that out?
Yes.
Hey,
okay.
Here's my question. Why did they release the Switch 2 in this moment?
Great question.
I don't know.
Because they knew that everyone would fall for it.
They were waiting for the event.
Yeah. Once the event happened, the Switch 2 had to be released.
They're not even sending out dev kits.
That's my favorite thing.
This is my Fell for It Again award, everybody.
John, I just assume that you're gonna... It's fine. I support you. You love your little pocket monsters. You're playing Scarlet and Violet at 60 FPS going, yay!
Oh, I am. You know it.
That's fine. I mean, like, why do I have a PlayStation 5? It was so I could play my freaking Final Fantasy at 60, 100, whatever FPS.
We're all
they really are turning
here.
consoles into PCs.
I'll play Final Fantasy 16 eventually, and I probably will never own a Switch.
You don't have to.
No, you don't understand.
Okay.
The event for me was becoming a JRPG fan when my brain was still developing. And so the event has to play all of them.
No, I understand.
I played the demo of FF16, and there was a specific moment where I knew that this game didn't have it. It's where your path is blocked by some wood, and instead of pressing X to destroy the wood, you have to go through a slow preset animation.
Yeah, I played through that game twice on Final Fantasy mode. And I would say the only shining light is the summon fights. They're pretty cool.
I don't know. I don't even know about that.
The Titan one's great. I don't know. I love it.
So my experience with playing the demo was my computer is just old enough that it doesn't have NVMe slots on the motherboard.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have read-write speeds high enough to play Final Fantasy 16.
Oh yeah, because the PlayStation 5 SSD thing.
So I had the really funny experience where it would load the scenes. It would definitely do that. But what would happen is, like, the Phoenix would get into a pose and then freeze, and you could hear my HDD desperately hungering for textures, and then he would lock into the next pose, like he was doing, like, katas or something. And every time that froze, it would do, like, the source engine loading thing, where he would just go, the Phoenix, Enix, 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 and then it would jump to the next thing.
I mean, that sucks, but it's also really good.
That's not bad. What's up next?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we've been going for quite a bit. Do y'all want to do like one more each, or do you want to just go ham. How are we feeling? You know?
I think I'm done with my games.
Okay. Lily, tell us what's going on with you. Just hit us with your stuff, and then we can wrap it up with Rose.
Okay. So I played a couple demos that I thought really, really stood out to me. The first one I wanted to talk about was Sword Hero.
Okay.
So the thing that first struck me with Sword Hero is it did a trailer somewhat recently where they really wanted to emphasize like the combat they have going on. And that demo is so good. It's not even a slice of the game. It is literally like a contextless combat arena. But have any of you played Heroes of Might or Magic, like the first person, like
Dark
kind
Messiah,
of made by Arcane? Yeah, Arcane. So imagine Gothic with the Dark Messiah kick.
Oh.
And you have targetable limbs on every enemy with different HP scores and armor values. It intentionally forces you to do the thing that Souls games refuse to do, which is break lock-on to fight groups. And the thing is, it does the Gothic thing. So depending on the morality of the person you are fighting, losing in combat won't kill you. They might just knock you down and take all of your stuff instead.
Holy shit.
So when I was playing the game, I accidentally fat-fingered the kick button, and I just blasted the shopkeeper across the room, where he proceeded to call me a bunch of swears and then beat me to like the inch of death with his bare hands, and then take all of the money I had been saving to give him. And when I say that rules, like, understand, I love games that allow you to appreciate the granularity of combat. Like, because again, I love Devil May Cry, but a game that lets you, like, manually target different body parts. And again, they break in real time, like Bushido Blade on the PS1. Oh. Like, you can fight packs of dogs that you've systematically cut all of the legs off, and they'll still come at you like a horrible hot dog of a creature. And you can just do that for every fight. And I am going to keep my eyes on this one, because I was like, oh my god, I have wanted like an RPG like this for a really long time. And I was talking to a friend about it, and I was saying, like, when you can have a game that doesn't have to worry about graphic fidelity, and it can just put as many mechanics as it wants to in there, that's where I am personally. Like, I love it when games do things like that. And I would encourage anyone, if you're excited at all about anything I've talked about, try the demo. It has 3 playable classes right now. You can play around, and it intentionally shows you where the difficulty is going to be, because that last fight will absolutely destroy you.
All right.
The other demo I wanted to talk about was called Quartet. So,
oh yes,
I have had a lot of, shall we say, feast or famine with indie RPGs. So I think it's really easy to evoke, like, the old school, like, JRPG, like, remember what it was like to play JRPGs when you were a kid kind of stuff?
Yeah.
And one of the alt trailers for Quartet, I think, is literally, like, a bunch of kids playing, like, an old console, and, like, they were doing, like, the bolt gun advertising, where it's like, remember when JRPGs were good? And that made me eye roll. But naturally, I played the demo anyway, because I enjoy having my time wasted. My time may not be wasted on this one. So, when you're, like, watching this, like, let me ask you, like, a general question. What do you think the tone is for this game, John?
I mean, it seems pretty Final Fantasy, you know, like, I would say light, but, you know, moments of, seriousness maybe as time goes on.
Okay, so wrong. The first character you play as in the demo is literally fucking working for the closest approximation of just literal Nazis.
Is it the hippo?
No, the guy with the trench coat leaning against the tree.
Okay.
And you literally are helping put people on fucking trains for the aid of the Chancellor. And I went, oh my god, I don't think... I was going crazy, because it's like, you're making me do JRPG combat, and then it's like, hey, put this next group of prisoners on the train.
Jesus.
So, do you think it, handles that? Do you think it...
So here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to say whether a JRPG is going to be good or bad from just a demo, because
sure,
with something like writing, it's the difficulty that comes from reading books in general. Mm-hmm. If you flip open a book to a random page and the prose seems passable, that doesn't tell you anything of if the structure of the story is going to be good or anything like that. Mm-hmm. You might have just stumbled upon a good page or a bad page. It doesn't, really tell you. Mm-hmm. I will say, at no point does it make light of any of the darkness of those things.
Okay.
Your character, he doesn't really express much of his interiority immediately. Mm-hmm. He does do the I was just following orders thing, so he's going to need some real character development to back himself out of that particular corner.
Sure.
But I'm not typically a person who gets shocked by content like that in this kinds of games, but when it's okay, so have you played Final Fantasy IV? Anyone here?
Me.
So you know how at the beginning of the game, Cecil is working for the Red Wings, and it's a military autocratic kind of assault, and they're killing people, but it's kind of obfuscated, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not the darkest it could be. This is more oh, we've started this game, we watched the military firebomb a civilian district, and we are putting women and children under the rifle explicitly.
Mm-hmm.
And you're telling me that this is a game where I have to also control a cartoon hippo working with the ex-Nazi. So here's the thing. I can't say that they nailed it, because obviously I haven't played the whole game. It is out now.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say that what I played in the demo was solid. It had interesting things to say, and I was being flippant in the shock value provocativeness of all of this, but again, I wanted to convey my actual emotional response when it was oh, one of my squad members got lit on fire by a Nazi commandant and they told you to just bury him in the ground. And then immediately afterward, I was fighting ghosts again in random encounters.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think
Solon in the chat is saying it looks very Breath of Fire, so it makes sense tonally, but Breath of Fire never had you play as the fascists, just as the people who escaped. So
yeah, and I will say minor spoilers if you care about that kind of thing. It's you play for 2 hours and then he almost immediately pivots to being part of the underground.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason he's doing it is it's not I morally object to this. It's more I don't know what else to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand the nuance of that can be difficult, especially when it's we are talking about literal autocratic genociding fascism.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand how certain people would be I don't want to see... I don't want to play as that kind of character.
Mm-hmm.
Which, fair. But I also think if they land it, it could be interesting.
Yeah.
This is the demo they put out, so they want to make some kind of statement with this. How would you evaluate the demo as a whole?
So, if I were to kind of... So there is a prologue where we see, a bunch of high-level adventurers doing a thing that we don't get a lot of context for. Typical JRPG stuff. Then we immediately are on a covert mission. It goes ass up. It does a lot of world building. your character retreats back to his hometown, where people show visible discomfort at the thought of being, quartering soldiers. A lot of the soldiers in this are very clearly like, I don't know, normal people, quote unquote. And then I think it does the disservice that I think a lot of critiques of fascism do, where it's like, oh, there were Nazis, and those were people who were just following orders. And then there's the black trench coat, Iron Cross wearers who were really into it. And I think that kind of is like one of those things where it's like evil lowercase e and evil uppercase e. Mm-hmm. Which I don't feel like that distinguishment, like I feel like that diminishes the complicity that certain people have in the roles of working with fascism. Mm-hmm. Having said that, I think that for the completeness of the demo, especially one where you don't have like an option to play as a different character, it was just this one guy who was available. And the story structure is kind of like they're doing like a Saga Frontier thing where you play as every character and then you kind of see how the stories like coalesce by the end. Or I guess Octopath is the closer like contemporary. But I would say that the demo, again, I don't want to punt on your question, but I guess what I'm trying to say is I would be intrigued to see more myself, but it is really easy to see how they could absolutely tunnel that into the ground from that point with the bar.
Mm-hmm. I think games like Chained Echoes and stuff recently have done those themes and been pretty okay at them. I also want to say, Solon brought up Breath of Fire saying you don't play as a fascist. Technically, but in Breath of Fire 4, you do play as the main antagonist. So you play as that main antagonist for a while. So I would say it's pretty...
I have played Chain Echoes, and I agree with you. Like, I think doing the kind of, like, being complicit in military autocracy...
Yeah, but it's different vibe, I get, yeah.
The vibe is, again, we are evoking the imagery of literal Nazism as opposed to fantasy-adjacent Nazism.
As opposed to, like, Final Fantasy VI Slave Crown or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Right, like, this isn't that. This is literally, you are putting people on a train and they can't speak the same language as you, and they are visibly panicking, and soldiers are shooting them in the street levels of explicitizing. Mm-hmm. Like, we are literally doing JRPG Crystal Knocked, and I don't know how great that's going to be.
Yeah, for my part, I don't trust RPGs like that. If it is not immediately apparent that they have some juice, I don't think I would go for it.
I will at least see in the long run. And again, it is out. I could ostensibly play it, but it's mostly like that being your demo, especially again when we have to, again, you saw that trailer. One of the playable characters is an anthropomorphic hippo and a robot.
Mm-hmm. Not even anthropomorphic, that is just a hippo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know, but those were the two demos that I played that I at least had something to say on. I also played a very short VN called Road Trip to the End of the World, if you are interested about VNs and main characters being toxic. Mm-hmm. Check it out, it's free. It's like an hour long.
Mm-hmm. Rose, you want to take us home?
Hi. Okay. Here's my quick things. I played the Helldivers 2 again because they added caves, which I thought was cool, and they added a Halo 3 ODST thing where you can just get Halo stuff in the game. I like Halo 3 ODST. I don't really have that much else to say. Helldivers, weird game sometimes in terms of its progression. The way you get the currency for the battle pass is you play on level 1 and just walk around an empty map collecting credits, which is weird. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to actually playing it, especially at the higher levels with friends, very fun game still. I'm glad that it seems like they have most of their connection issues ironed out at this stage. Because obviously I played it a lot when it was coming out and it blew up substantially. And it was blowing up all the time. In a nearly unplayable state. So, I like that. I had fun with that. I like all the Halo 3 ODST stuff. They did good pulls. They pulled all the cool, unique weapons from Halo, and then also included the Halo assault rifle.
They let you wear an Oni cape, which is funny. Yeah. Telldivers, fun.
Very nice.
I also played the Rogue Prince of Persia, which is the Prince of Persia roguelike from the Dead Cells creators.
Yeah.
It is certainly Dead Cells adjacent, but I think it solves almost all of the issues of Dead Cells in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. It has a much more limited scope. It has a fantastic soundtrack, a really, really good soundtrack.
Okay.
Like a lot of hip hop music and like electronic stuff. Really works well for the vibe. The parkour mechanics are really good, similar to the other Prince of Persia roguelike Metroidvania that came out last year, Lost Crown. I think it's honestly just like a more lower stakes Dead Cells. Like, it's not a game you're supposed to play for 1 billion hours. It's a game you're supposed to play for like 12 and then you finish it. And I like that about it. I like that there's only like 12 kinds of weapons so that they all have really distinctive move sets instead of the Dead Cells thing where there's like 5 move sets but then 700 weapons. I think it's much more thoughtful. There's a lot more writing that feels more cohesive and engaged. There's this funny thing, it has like a mind map where it's like as you're going through runs and you find like secret rooms. In Dead Cells, you would find these secret rooms and they would just have like a meme joke or something. Like they would be like, "Oh, I ran out of meat, so I ate my leg, haha," or something like that. And I'd be like, "Okay, what is this?" And then in this game, it's more like, "Oh, you found a note from the invading army or something, and now you read it, and now it's going into your mind thing like, oh, maybe I should check out this section of the map and this biome in a future run." And I like that a lot.
That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah.
I think it makes it feel much more like a cohesive game, which I think roguelikes can be really bad at.
Oh yeah.
Which is why people always call them junk food stuff, which I can't fault them for calling that, because a lot of the times they are. But I think when you set yourself as like, no, you're going to finish this in like 12 hours, that's like normal games.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of the systems are designed around supporting that. There's a skill tree. Stuff like that. Like every time you finish a run, you level up once, you get another point for your skill tree and you just put it in. It feels good. It's just a fun game. I actually really liked it. I think the vibe I was getting from people is that it had an initial poor reception and then they fixed literally every problem everyone brought up. So,
well, there you go.
It seems pretty good. It was on the PS Plus is why I played it. So if you have that, then go for it.
Go for it.
And then the last game I played was Lost Soul Aside, which was a game that was in development for 9 years, I believe. It's part of the China Hero Project for Sony, where they helped fund independent games from China. Other games from that include AI Limit and a couple more that are coming out this year that I can't call off the top of my head. It's a character action style game. You could say hack and slash. I think it has a little bit more depth in line with a character action game than most hack and slashes, but it is very hack and slashy. You play as this guy named Kaiser, and he does sort of look like Buff Noctis from a distance from Final Fantasy 15, but he does have a ponytail, which did not come across to me in any of the box art or anything for this game.
Yeah.
But he lives in like a Warhammer style. Imperial China has taken over the world, and he's part of a rebellion group that's trying to take down the immortal emperor and like sort of make things better for poor people. And they're initiating the phase 1 of their rebellion plan, and then aliens invade from outer space and attack everyone.
You hate when that happens.
It always happens at the worst time, right? So then his sister's soul is sucked out by an alien. So then he has to go on an adventure with the help of a little dragon thing that floats around him named Arena.
Okay.
And he goes around just fighting a bunch of fucking people, doing Devil May Cry, or like I would say Bayonetta. You know in Bayonetta when you like touch a thing and then it's like, go pick up all the butterflies, and then you go back?
Sure.
Yeah, a bunch of stuff like that. Little combat portal challenges, secret mission DMC style. Very, very indie game, I would say. This is like this is on the cusp of being AA. Like not even like it is a AA reaching to AAA. I would say this is like single A reaching into AA just because they had a bit more time to work on assets and stuff.
Less than half of Skull and Bones.
Less than half of Skull and Bones, honestly. We will now measure all games by how many Skull and Bones they are. It's had a little bit of a rough launch because I think the PC version, as most Chinese and Japanese games especially, end up being, has a lot of performance issues on PC. A lot of audio desync and stuttering, I believe, which is pretty common, unfortunately, for PC ports. On PlayStation 5, I would say it runs pretty decently, but I also have to offer you the caveat that I only started playing that game yesterday, and apparently they patched it to add things like NPC animations and sounds when you hit people. So take my opinions with a little bit of a grain of salt, because I could definitely imagine the game feeling a lot worse without those things.
Yeah.
It's very silly. I don't know. I feel like it's getting a really overblown hate response because I think it has a really rough start of being very Final Fantasy VII Remake, where you walk through a lot of areas and they do cutscenes and stories with minimal fighting. And most of the fighting is very tutorial driven, like, hey, do an attack. Hey, you can dodge, stuff like that. But as you keep getting further in the game, it does start to open up like a Devil May Cry style game. Like, you have multiple weapons, you have different cooldown moves, which is very reminiscent of Final Fantasy 16, but I think they have a much smarter thing going with a lot of them. They're mainly used as Devil Breaker style things more than anything. There's interesting resource management where I actually like this because I think not enough games are doing this. I don't like how you use stamina for dodge rolls necessarily in a Souls game, for example, but I also don't like in games like Lies of P, even though I love parrying. I love parrying. You can kind of just parry forever if you're good at it. In Lost Soul side, I think it's interesting. You have limited amounts of parries you can do before you have to wait 2 seconds for it to refill. So you do have to be mindful of your positioning and movement and what you're going to be doing at any given time. It's lacking a little bit of weight is, I think, the main critique as someone who's been playing a lot of Ninja Gaiden recently. Ninja Gaiden is a very weighty game, and I think Devil May Cry also a very weighty game in a lot of ways. You feel the impact behind your attacks and sort of the momentum that you're drilling into people. I think that this game has a lot of juggling, which is nice, but sometimes it just feels very weightless. And that can be frustrating because I think the shining point of games like character action games is that you have that sort of level of oomph and power fantasy. And I think a lot of weight and hit stop, stuff like that. Devil May Cry is really good at hit stop, right? When you do a deflection or something like that. It feels really good. And this game doesn't really have a lot of that. Like I said, it barely had weapon sounds or hit sounds before this new update. Apparently it would just do a little twing or something like that. And now it's more normal chops, but that's such a weird thing to have after such a long development for this game. I'm mostly positive on it, I would say, so far though. Okay. A lot of people are complaining about the story. I think that's silly because I don't think Devil May Cry or Ninja Gaiden have good stories as examples of standouts in that genre. I think that they're very perfunctory. I think the issue is mainly they just front load a lot of it. But I think that so far it's fine. I think the floating dragon head that's just talking all the time is funny. He if you fuck up a block, sometimes he'll just be like, "Why did you mess that up, dude?" Basically. He'll be like, "Come on, man." Or you'll fall down in a pit and he's like, "Come on, what was that?
Come on."
And I like it because it's not all the time. It's just infrequent enough to be kind of funny. Yeah, I know.
Sorry, go on.
I was going to say the main feature I really like is the weapon customization feature, which basically this is dabbling into RPG elements because it was inspired by Final Fantasy 15. And their dabbling is basically you can put things on your weapons to do things like, increase your energy generation for your devil trigger or increase the chance of getting critical hits or something like that. Stuff like that. Just little mundane things. But they're all physical items that go onto your sword and you get to position and scale the item on your sword. or like scythe, etc., all the weapon types. So like I got this cool thing where it's like, oh, I got like a flower and I put the flower on the middle of the blade and I made it huge. So it's just like a giant flower in the middle of my sword. And then I got an angel wing and I put the angel wing on the hilt and made it tiny and put it off the side. So it just looks like it has like this little wing and stuff like that. And I just like that little types of, it's soulful. It's just like, it shows they thought of like a fun little thing you could do. Yeah. Were you going to say anything, Crystal?
I was going to say it may be true that Ninja Gaiden and Devil May Cry do not have a compelling narrative, but they do have aura and hype moments.
They do have aura and hype.
How does Lost Soul Aside do in that department?
It does okay so far. I would say that you can definitely tell we're working with an independent team. I think this was around 20 main workers on this project over a long period of times, and they did not have that much money working for it, which I gotta say, the biggest issue with this game, right, straight up, so AI limit I mentioned earlier, that's like a Dark Souls-esque game. That's $35. This is $60-$70 in Europe for some reason. And I think that is a bit high of an asking price, as loath as I am to include game prices in discussion of a game, but I think that's definitely what's hurting this in comparison to something like AI limit. It's like double the price, and they're like very similar is very odd. But yeah, aura-wise, I think I could see it getting somewhere when you get more weapons to switch between, because you can switch between the weapons at any time, like a Devil May Cry or something like that. And I think the idea of doing a bunch of slashes with your sword and then switching to a scythe to do like a ring around thing, and then just like being able to like side dash behind someone and do like a big great sword slash will feel like aura and will feel really cool. I will say in the cutscenes, I think he has negative aura right now, compared to someone like Ryu Hayabusa or Dante. So there is a little bit of a disconnect there, because, for example, you beat the first boss of the game and then like a rock falls on him and knocks him out. And
as he should.
And I was just like, okay, like the main character, to be clear, it falls on the main character just after, and they just like are knocked out for a while, and then they wake up and go, oh no.
Oh, heck.
Yeah. But I don't know, there is some aura that, have you seen the clip going around on Twitter or Twitter and Blue Sky of the kid being kicked in the cutscene?
No.
There's this video going around of the really sharp cuts in this game, basically, where they're just walking around this village and it's playing like calm music, and then they pick up an item and then they walk a little bit to the left and it just smash cuts to a soldier kicking a child like 30 feet across the like city, and it just like slams into some boxes, and they're like, oh my god, don't attack him. I saw that clip and I thought it was pretty crazy. What's crazier is that Kaiser then jumps like 50 feet into the air and then like dive kicks him and juggles him into the air to kick him a few times.
All right.
Which is really something. So there's some aura, but I don't know. Right now it's very much like a less severe version of Forspoken in some ways. Of like, just like, what's going on? I don't really know. I do think it's kind of funny that the dragon you're hanging out with has no idea about anything that's going on. But everyone keeps asking him, and he keeps being like, I can't tell you. And then the main character just goes, that means he doesn't know.
Don't look at me, buddy.
But I'm interested to see where it goes. I think it's only like 12 hours or something, which is nice. So I think it has multiple difficulties after the fact, like a normal character action game too. So
gotta get good at it.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I will say one thing that I got up to, because I mean, I've been chipping away more at the Digimon Hacker's memory here and there. I'll be honest, I'm kind of done with it in a grand scheme of things, because I already played that original game, and playing that kind of not back to back per se, but like in the same year, probably not the smartest thing in the world. But I have to beat it, because they're starting to reveal the fucking cards for the new expansion, so I need to not get spoiled. I need to beat the game in the next, like, week or two, or I'm fucked.
Well, let me ask you this, John.
Yeah.
Would it be a worse experience to get spoiled, or to spend dozens of hours dragging yourself through this game?
I think it will be better for me to just play the game, because when they show the cards, I'll be able to say, that's just like that part in the game. Because that's what happened with the original Cyber Sleuth, and then it was nice when they showed the cards. So,
okay,
there you go. That's how I feel about it.
As long as it's your honest truth.
Thing. It's a stupid ass thing, but it's how I am. I've been playing TCGs. You know, I'm still playing more Digimon stuff. Digimon TCG, still playing that. I'm trying to make a Diaboromon deck. I'm real close to having it real good. I'm close to it. We're gonna win locals one of these days. I probably not, but it's okay. But the gamers thing that I did, is I broke out my old notebook, because I'm not gonna show it on here because I don't want to show anything until I actually do it. But, I actually went somewhere. I went and talked to some people in person about their game. I don't want to, ruin things, I guess. I don't want to just spill everything. But, I found a local, indie doujin studio by looking around on that W Place thing that was popular for a while. They just posted about their games on there. And then I emailed them and said, hey, can I interview you? Because you're local? And then they said, we'll do you one better. You can come by our studio. And their studio was a room in an apartment. And it was really cool. So I'm gonna write up I didn't record it. I'm gonna try to set up an article. This isn't gonna be one of those question answer things. I'm gonna try to sort of write a piece on this. This is gonna be an experience. You're gonna live through this experience that I had. They were very nice. If you want to check out their stuff, because so specifically they are an eroge studio. And their art is very inspired by stuff like Clanad and stuff by Leaf. If you're familiar with that. So be advised, but they're called Demir Studios. So if you want to look up their stuff and look at that, you can do so if you so choose. They were very nice to me, so that gives me some points. When you're nice to me, I like that. Yeah. But no, I mean, I genuinely did want to I asked questions about. I tried to drill into some of the hard stuff for sure. So I thought it was an interesting. I thought it was interesting that it lined up with the recent issues with, the payment processors and itch.io and all that. As well as they actually have a an agreement with Jast, JAST, that does a lot of distribution for eroge and H games and stuff over here. And there was San Japan just happened last weekend, and they were there, and Jast was also there, but Jast got kicked out on Saturday, and there's not really a public reason why. And it wasn't because of any laws or anything like that, because there was a law that recently went into effect for Texas that's barring any sort of art that could be construed as showcasing potentially underage characters, which is one of those things where you want to be or you at first blush you'll be okay, sure, but then it's they're just going to use that for a lot of really shitty reasons, and they're also going to probably use it to censor artistic things that involve that sort of like it's going to be used for for censorship, that for things that are completely not that shouldn't be swept up in this kind of stuff. So I will try to get that done as soon as I can, because I haven't written anything in a while. I haven't really had the oomph, so I'm hoping I can get some.
Now you got the oomph from an oomph. That's true.
I mean, they're not on social media, which is really funny. So I guess not an oomph, but a someone I had some folks I had a nice time chatting with.
Yeah,
which
awesome.
was nice, which was very nice. All right. Well, we're almost done here. You could send in a question if you want to ask us stuff. We'll take like one or two from the chat if the chat has any questions, but otherwise, you can go to your email client of choice and send a question to podcast@gamesline.net, and you'll sound like this. This is from Matt. A Wii U and a 3DO are placed in front of you. Which one do you gravitate towards, and why?
This is a very interesting pair, because the 3DO is kind of like a PS5, right? It costs too much money. It's really more powerful than it needs to be. It's a lot of ports, a lot of movie type games. Mm-hmm. And then the Wii U is like, what if a walled garden also didn't have any games?
So here's what I think. My thing is, that's tough. I think that the PS5, if you compare the PS5 to the 3DO thing, I agree with you. But also at the same time, the PS5 runs those games well, for the most part. Whereas
that's
the 3DO,
what's it running?
It's running something. So I almost argue the Wii U just on virtue of the Wii U is a novel thing. The tablet did enable some interesting gameplay ideas, such as the Zombie U backpack or other such silly things like that. Wonderful 101 stylus controls, yeah. Wonderful 101's like cockpit view when you're doing mech fights. Great stuff. Fun stuff like that. Just that alone makes it worth it to me. But also, the Kirby Canvas Curse sequel was bad.
Mm-hmm. And should have been good.
Of the Wii U.
But would you rather play games on a 3DO instead of a Wii U?
No.
Okay, there you go. They put a Smash Brothers game on Wii U and not on 3DO, so there's my answer.
If I ever get tired of the Wii U library, I can play YouTube on my Fisher-Price device.
Did you know that ads don't even work on it anymore, I heard?
Really? Wow.
Yeah, apparently you can just skip to the end of ads now.
I think I've watched multiple episodes of Breaking Bad on the Wii U gamepad. So.
Sure.
It's really comfortable.
It wasn't bad.
It is Fisher-Price, but
it worked.
I liked holding that shit more than I like holding the Joy-Cons.
Oh, by far.
Let me think. The 3DO lets you play Lucien's Quest by the preeminent studio Micro Cabin.
Oh. Well, I take everything back now.
Yeah, you could play Myst on your television.
I guess. That's the argument you make to your wife, right?
You can play Mad Dog McCree.
That's on the TV, not the computer.
It's what makes a lot of these old consoles a little difficult to evaluate, because obviously much better versions of Myst are easily available now. Only a true sicko would be like emulating the 3DO version of Myst instead of just buying it on Steam, right? But at the time, a good port could go a long way.
So I actually have thought about this for a second, and I guess I will just say, I would... Okay, if someone walked up to me and just said, okay, you just get to play either a Wii U or a 3DO right now. Like right now, just approach me and said that. I would say, okay, I want to mess around with 3DO because I have a Wii U. I've messed around with the Wii U, but I've never touched a 3DO. I want to check it out. So I guess my answer would be the 3DO, but if it was like, which one would you want to play for like an extended amount of time and like which do you think is a better console, then yeah, probably Wii U. But if we're just hanging out and you're just like, hey, I got a 3DO, you want to check that out? I'd be like, yeah, I want to check out a 3DO, whatever, man, sure. Like that, yeah, I guess that's my answer. It'd just be, yeah, I'll check out a 3DO, I don't care.
I guess if like the ultimate question is like, if we are trapped in this scenario where it's like, do I have access to the entire library of 3DO games? In which case, I might find it novel to play, I don't know, Putt Putt Goes to the Parade on the 3DO. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like you're saying, I think like the thing we ultimately have to confront is like, am I trapped in the same room with the console? Like, am I in a Dostoevsky short story where I can't leave the room until I finish the entire library? In which case, I'll choose the Wii U because it'll probably be over faster.
Yeah.
Wii U must have had more games than the 3DO.
I mean, if you also include like their virtual console, remember they have the DS and GBA games and everything else also from the Wii. They have all the Wii library. Also, you could just open up a Wii. You could open up a Wii inside the Wii U.
Wii U has 791 games. 3DO has 246.
Well, there you go.
Does that include Meme Run?
I think that includes Meme Run.
Okay.
There's only like 200 physically released Wii U games.
That makes sense.
The 3DO has a Yu Yu Hakusho fighting game exclusive. So
that's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can play Plumbers Don't Wear Ties.
Mm-hmm. I always want to do that.
It's true. Alright, Solon asks here, Dead Cells snagged Rogue Prince of Persia, and Demon Turf got Bubsy 4D. What random indie dev gets the bag next? What do we think?
I could almost see Death's Door getting an official Zelda game or something. Just because Nintendo is not being precious about Zelda anymore between letting Acclaim... Is it Acclaim? Not Acclaim. What am I thinking of? Who are the Octopath developers? Oh, fuck.
Acclaim.
Well,
the Octopath team? Okay.
No. The co-developers of Octopath Traveler is a satellite company, and they made Echoes of Wisdom.
Asano.
No. No. Oh, fuck. I'll figure it out.
Grezzo. It is Grezzo.
It's not Grezzo. It's not. It's. Hold on. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's Grezzo. It is Grezzo. Yeah.
It's Grezzo?
Uh-huh.
Acquire. Yeah. It's Acquire. Acquire is who I'm thinking of. Acquire worked on Echoes of Wisdom with Grezzo.
Oh, okay.
Well. Anyway, that's my point. They let them make that Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Yeah.
Recently, so I think like Death's Door was pretty much just a Zelda game, so sure, it's possible.
Yeah, let someone make Zelda 3, the sequel to Zelda 2.
or the third Oracle game, Inexplicably Now.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, sure. Noted indie developer Capcom.
They're gonna be an indie developer with the amount of talent they're bleeding, am I right? Whoa.
They're doing such good stuff, but also, it's a shame. Just let Sukeban make a new Flower, Sun, and Rain or Silver Case. You know?
I'm trying to think if there is like a series I would actually want to be revitalized. Like honestly, like I thought it was kind of crazy they let Mercury Steam make Metroid Dread and the Samus Returns. I like both of those. But like before that, they just made... I don't know. Lords of Shadow is not an indie game, I guess. I should take that back.
Yeah, but still.
It's like an interesting...
I feel like that should happen more. This stuff should happen more.
Yeah, I agree.
Do an indie game jam for Redneck Rampage to see who can make that a playable video game.
True.
I don't believe that's possible. I think you're asking for the impossible dream.
Give Duke Nukem to New Blood.
Okay. That's an answer.
Okay,
there you go.
Okay. You know what?
Okay.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I want to say, actually, I thought of another example of this, actually, recently, is they let the Blasphemous people make a Ninja Gaiden.
That's true.
That was pretty good.
It did kind of get overshadowed by that new Shinobi, I feel, but that Ninja Gaiden's still good. Maverick says, let horse race tests handle F-Zero.
Sure.
Yeah.
Who would you get for I Am Alive to?
Jade Raymond, bring her back. See the original vision.
The Don't Starve
to the desk. She can't.
Yeah. Don't let her escape. Oh my god. Crystal, do you have one?
Who makes indie games? I don't know. I've never played a game in my life.
That's true. You only go after the established historical icons of your.
Let Stephen H. Landrum make a one-person passion project for like the Dungeon Quest.
Okay.
Sure. You know, it is yeah, that's
What does Dragon Stomper think?
Yeah, Dragon Stomper. Who do you want doing your reboot, your remake?
Hold on, let me get the Dragon Stomper image back. Hey, it's me. I'm the Dragon Stomper.
Hey, Dragon Stomper, how's it going?
They should let me make Dragon's Dogma so I can stomp that dragon.
Oh fuck. Okay.
Okay. That sounds
Dragon's
pretty
Dogma 2 would have been a lot better.
Ooh, stop.
Oh! We got to see a stomp. I can't believe it. Thank you, Dragon Stomper.
All right, goodbye.
I don't know why, but that fading, that made me laugh. I don't know why. That was really funny for some reason.
Cross faded on Dragon Stomper.
We're doing some video content here.
Yeah. Smoking on that shit that made him stomp on the dragon. All right. One last question here from Lorelai, who asks, what game sequel or threequel or fourquel, etc., has the best subtitle? So what is the best subtitle
Kingdom
of a game?
358 Days Over 2. I'll tell you what.
Mm-hmm.
Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater.
Subsistence.
Snake Eater.
No, Snake Eater, I think both Subsistence and Delta lose something.
Delta definitely loses
Snake
something.
Eater on the box. That's such a
Snake
good
Eater.
title. Because it's like, he's in the jungle, he eat the snake, but also he's the snake being eaten by higher forces.
Yeah.
Garden of Banban 8 Anti-Devil.
That's not bad.
It's so fucking good is the thing. When I saw that was the title, I lost my mind. Then they released that after Garden of Banban 0.
Yeah, and also I was looking through that game. I didn't expect this to be a fucking theme in the games that I played recently. Didn't expect Garden of Banban to open in prison.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if a lot happens in those games. I highly recommend I watched all of Mandalore Gaming streams of them. Highly recommend that because he just seems really upset the entire time.
I had the game forcibly injected into my Steam library, so now until the end, my Steam discovery queue will just be like, hey, because you bought Garten of Banban 8 Anti-Devil, we think that you would like this game.
I don't even... What, Bendy? Is that like it? Is it... Would they just keep being like Bendy?
So
Yeah.
so the game that I've already gotten recommended to me was like that fake analog horror child TV show.
My Friendly Neighborhood.
Different one. It's like
good.
I could say no different one until the podcast was 8 hours long. I need you to understand that.
I did hop on Steam real quick, and one of the first things on new and trending is Grand Tits Adventure. Just to let you all know.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm.
Does it have a subtitle?
No.
We'll have to wait for the sequel.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. There's got to be more that have good names. I love stupid names for video games. I'm gonna keep it real with you.
At this point, the most common subtitle is remastered, so I think we're getting there.
Origins is all the time.
There was Hyperdimension Neptunia Sisters vs. Sisters that I played, where there was no sisters versus sisters even occurring in the game.
Remastered. Yeah, that was a good one. Remastered was a good one. Maverick to say Yakuza 6 The Song of Life. That is a legitimately very good one. Yeah, that is a good one.
Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Yeah. Yeah, like the ones where
Infinite
it's like
wealth.
Infinite. That has like nothing to do with the game either. Like I was sitting there the whole time, like when is this wealth gonna come? And it never comes up. Like
the infinite
I don't
wealth
think
was
there's like
the friends Kiryu made along the way. That was the whole point, John.
That's true, but like yeah, it's so crazy. Like one of the only games where like I mean it's about like control and stuff, but like that's like one of the only games that I could think of where it's like pretty explicitly not about money, but it's called Infinite Wealth. Like that's you know, I mean. I guess control of people is worth more than control of money. Maybe I don't know.
I if I have to give a genuine answer, I will say Legacy of Kain Defiance.
That was pretty good. Soul Reaver also. Both of those like really good names.
Maverick again. Yakuza Gaiden, the man who erased his name. That's really good.
That's true.
Really good. Devil Summoner Raido Kuzunoha versus the Soulless Army.
That's true. That's definitely true.
Yeah. Nicholas says, Cops Officers, Police Simulator of NYPD City. Cops Officers. Man.
Middle Earth, trademark. Shadow of War, registered trademark.
I'm trying to think. There's got to be more.
That new Daemon X Machina game is a good one. Titanic Scion.
Yeah, that one's pretty good.
That's good.
I do like that one.
Dyokusei has the subtitle Bangin' Summer.
Bangin' Summer, yeah. God. I feel like there's like one right at the top. There's so many video game titles can be so good.
Mm-hmm. Fires of Rubicon, that's a good one too.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
We need more stuff that's not just Origins or whatever else.
Every time they came out with some fucking horseshit for Birth by Sleep, like hello, like that's just great.
That's really good.
A classic of really bad one that I mean I still love this game to bits, but No More Heroes 2 Desperate Struggle.
I actually do like that.
Actually, now that you...
I kind of like it, but just because it's so, like, just, you know, like, I mean, it matches, kind of, but it's just, like, Desperate Struggle. Like, I don't know. It's bad, but it's also, like, I like, especially when you start that game up on the Wii, and you hear the, like, you know, like, you hear Travis going, Desperate Struggle on there. It's like, all right. Yeah, Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes. Yeah, Travis Strikes Again is really good. Yeah.
What were you saying?
But, I mean, that's...
I was saying that I think the genuine answer I have was Armored Core 4 Answer.
Oh, 4 Answer. That's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Travis does struggle, and he is. I mean, yeah, that motherfucker's desperate. So yeah, that's true.
To go back to Metal Gear, like every single Metal Gear after the first one, crazy good title. Sons of Liberty, Guns of the Patriots, Rising Revengeance. The Phantom Pain.
Guns of the Patriots. Phantom Pain.
Death Stranding 2 On the Beach.
On the Beach. Whenever I read Death Stranding 2 on the beach, I hear it in the voice of the lady from Neo Turf Masters, just like, on the beach!
I like Riven: the sequel to Myst.
The sequel to Myst. Yeah.
Best video game subtitles. I mean...
You're just Googling, you're like, we need more. I just needed to keep getting more hits on that.
Yeah.
Every single Ratchet and Clank game being a perverse slang.
Max Payne 2, The Fall of Max Payne. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's good.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin.
It's fucking... Because they added the Scholar of the First Sin.
I mean, yeah, but that's good. Yeah, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure: Heritage to the Future. Yeah, that is a great subtitle, but also every time I say it, I feel like I need to be like, it's not white supremacist. Like, it sounds white supremacist, but it, like, doesn't it? Like, but it's also very good. A Link to the Past. That's a great one.
Oh, that's true. They kind of went off with that one.
Yeah.
A good title really goes a long way.
It really does. Like Freddy Fish 4, The Case of the Hogfish Rustlers of Briny Gulch. Mm-hmm. When they called the game they made after Five Nights at Freddy's 4 FNAF World.
There you go.
I think we have thoroughly answered this question.
Yeah, probably.
Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. That's a good one.
Rise, Son of Rome.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't work.
I really like Guns of the Patriots, though. Yeah, I agree with you there.
The 14 expansions have good names. Do they count?
That's true. The Shadowbringers is... Whew.
Endwalker. That's a great one. Yeah.
Stormblood, also good.
All right. I think that does it. Thank you all so much for stopping by. This was a good one. This is a really fun one. Thank you for listening. Thank you three for being on here with me. It was a real treat. So, if you want to continue to find us, look at all the stuff that we're doing, it's gamesline.net. Go to that website. There's a bunch of links that should be down there. But, for everyone listening, gamesline.net. Our Blue Sky is also gamesline.net. So if you look that up on Blue Sky, you'll find it. Our Tumblr is gamesline.tumblr.com. Our Facebook is facebook.com/gamesline, if you're still using Facebook for whatever reason. youtube.com/@the Gamesline. Remember, the @sign's got to be there, which I still can't believe that that's just called the @sign. They should have come up with a better name, just in my opinion.
I agree.
If you're listening to this on the podcast feed, you can catch us live. We try to be on around 6 EST, but sometimes life happens and sometimes you're stuck in the rain on the drive home. So, sometimes you're a little late. But twitch.tv/GameslineTV. Subscribe to us on there, or follow us. Follow us on there. And subscribe if you can, if you want to. If you want to spend the money, we welcome it. But follow us so you get the ping when we're online. If you do want to give us money, the best way to do it is through Patreon. Patreon.com/Gamesline. You can get access to our podcast, our podcast a week early. We're going to be doing our next anime podcast soonish. I don't know exactly when, but when we do, we will be talking about Adolescence of Utena. I'm excited to talk about that.
Great
and if you want to hang out with it was I don't want to spoil it. If you want to hang out and chat with us, our Discord is thegamezone.zone. Type that into your web browser, it'll bring you straight there. And thank you to Melt Channel/Magic Circuit for our theme song Crush off of the album Magic is Real. If you want to listen to their stuff, it's meltchannel.bandcamp.com or magic-circuit.bandcamp.com. And as always, I recommend you buy music on Bandcamp Friday. So the first Friday of every month. Crystal, where can people find you?
You can find me at Arcane Crystal on Blue Sky. Listen to Eidolon Playtest. The miniseries IGMs is concluded. All 4 episodes are out about the shipwrecked pirates on an island that magnifies the soul.
Ooh. Congratulations on the completedness of that. Any hints on what's next? Or, I mean, I'm guessing you're doing something now new, but anything you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, the next two miniseries are Eidolon Romance, themed after My Chemical Romance, about it's a The Warriors type thing about like Mad Max people in the desert. And then there's also Eidolon Flashback, which is a time travel story about fixing moments of history that are going wrong.
Okay. Sounds cool. Lily, where can people find you?
You can find me at galalis.bsky.social, where you can see my pinned content. That is the YouTube poop that my partner makes 6 inches from my head in the morning.
May we all be so lucky.
I'm a lucky person. What can I say?
And Rose, where can people find you?
Yeah, it's fatamorgana.bsky.social. Over there on Blue Sky. Also Horngal on Twitter sometimes.
And I'm john.gamesline.net on Blue Sky. You can also type that in to look at all the stuff that I post on Gamesline as well, which hopefully becomes more soon. But thank you very much, everybody, for your time, for checking us out, for supporting us however you can, monetarily or by spreading us around, sharing a link to what we do, a direct link, or a repost helps a lot. So we appreciate it. And thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next week with another episode of the Gamesline podcast. Have a good one.
Bye.
Goodbye.